You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. On this first Thursday in October, we've got 3 deciding games in baseball. We've got Thursday night football. Got a lot going on in the sports world. Hope you're ready for it. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well. Enjoyed the baseball yesterday. Obviously, my team went down, but I kind of expected that. It is tough, though. You were on fire yesterday. It was funny and fun all at the same time about Fried getting pulled. And, I mean, David, compared to yesterday, that was a hell of an outing.
Oh, my goodness. It might have been a complete game, 6 1/3 innings. I mean, you know, my goodness. I mean, Jack Morris's 10 innings back in 1991 seems like he pitched both ends of a doubleheader, Mark. My goodness. Unbelievable. I'm listening to the announcers go on and on. Well, you know, Dylan Cease gave the Padres 3 2/3. 3 2/3. What did he get, rocked?
I mean, that's
Gossage. 5 runs?
That's Gossage in a relief effort in the 80s, for crying out loud.
Sparky Lyle in a deciding game for the Yankees in the late 70s. The closer was brought out of the bullpen in the 4th. Okay, what?
But that's
I gotta
today's
admit,
baseball. You just got to get
I
used to
know.
it. I thought you made a great point yesterday to me, and I want you to say that again.
Well, it's very early in the morning. I forget whatever that great point was.
Regarding watching 162 games of that.
Oh, okay. So let's see. I'll look up the text. I could not watch this for a season where the number 2 starters intentionally only go 3 innings and 4 2/3 innings in a 1-1 game, not a 4-4, 5-5 game. It's why I love the starts from Snell, Crochet, Skubal, and Fried yesterday, and I'm still incredulous he took Fried out.
But it is just fascinating how different of all of the sports. Look at the NBA's changed a lot. It is 3-point reliant. A lot of us don't like that compared to the game of the 90s, if you will, where there was a midcourt game, where there was a post game, and big men put their ass towards the basket, got the ball, and made moves. That doesn't really happen anymore. It's why Jokic is such a delight to a lot of players, because he does a lot of different things. And sometimes, even though he doesn't shoot as much as maybe the post player of days gone by, he makes plays out of the post, if you will. Football, sure, it's more reliant on the passing game, but every once in a while, and by every once in a while, I mean every Sunday, you see a team that will run it down the other team's throat. And you can go, look at that. Or you see a game that David likes so much, like the Penn State-Oregon game, that's in single digits heading to the second half. But baseball, for a guy to throw a complete game, for a Jack Morris to throw 10 innings, well, we're not going to see that anymore. We're just not.
Yeah. This 5 trips to the bullpen to help get you through 9 stuff, day in, day out, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't. And I don't anymore.
And that was, yesterday, one of our poll questions was very simply, how much did you watch? And there were a lot of folks, David, that didn't watch a bit of baseball. How much baseball did you watch yesterday? And look at 2/3 of you watched either a little or a lot of baseball, but 1/3 of you said you did not watch any. Now, today, with 3 deciding games, will those numbers go up? Probably slightly.
I don't know.
If you weren't watching on Monday, well, I mean, it is Yankees Red Sox at 8 o'clock tonight. I mean,
understand.
It's prime time, but there's also an NFL game. And a lot of you, whether it's fantasy or gambling or just the love of the sport that used to be played only on Sundays and Mondays, well, you'll tune into Amazon Prime. And I get it.
Could be the poll question. What are you watching tonight? Yankees, Red Sox, Niners, Rams. And we're not giving both as an option.
Well, and most people do watch both with the split screens that most folks have now.
Now, you can do that when one's streaming and one's cable?
No, I mean, David, I don't know because I don't have cable anymore and haven't for a long time. But I know if you have DirecTV, you can split the screen. I know on YouTube you can split the screen. I don't really know if you're an Xfinity customer, if that option is something you can do. I don't have it. But a lot of people do that now. There are, so I think people will flip back and forth to both. But if, the question becomes, if you could only watch one, which would you watch?
Okay. So I'm just curious. Because, 49ers, Rams, I don't know how many, especially since it's Mac Jones for the Niners for the 3rd time this year. But, SoFi will be rocking, and over half the place will be Niners fans too. Don't kid yourself. Been there for about 3 of them. All right. An NFC championship game was split 50-50. Niners fans invade that place.
And everyone's fans invade that place to a certain degree, but none like the San Francisco 49er fan base when it comes to this particular game.
No. But 3 deciding game 3s. Only one of the wild card series is in the books, the one that we all thought would end quickly, the Dodgers, although boy, did the Reds have their chances yesterday. Got out to an early 2-0 lead. They're down 3-2 in the 6th. They have bases loaded with nobody out, and the Dodgers are playing their infield back. You literally would think a ball in play. They put one ball in play. Dodgers got to force it home, and then Yamamoto with back-to-back strikeouts. Dodgers said, we'll take it from here. But the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Padres all forced deciding game 3s today. And because of it, the times of the games have been changed up. Sorry, Mark. No 1 o'clock game today.
I'm okay. You know,
right.
I mean, and the Tigers I'm worried about because they had their chances yesterday. They left 15 runners on base yesterday. Before the game was out of hand, and Cleveland took care of them later in the game. Detroit had chances seemingly every inning and did not take advantage. They cannot hit the baseball right now.
It was 1-1 going to the bottom of the 8th. So you see the 6-1 final, and you're like, what the heck? No, it was 1-1 bottom of the 8th, and at that point in time, the Tigers had left 12 men on. They decided to leave the bases loaded in the 9th just for the heck of it.
Up until the start of yesterday, if I heard the stat correctly, and I believe I did, since we've gone to this 3-game wild card, there had been 10 of 12 sweeps. 3 games now going to a deciding game 3. That's great for the wild card. It is.
It is.
Because we were used to the team winning game 1, winning game 2, and these being over. And yesterday, 3 of the 4 teams that lost game 1 pushing it to a game 3. So both American League Series going 3, and the Cubs and Padres going 3 games at Wrigley in the early evening, late afternoon today.
3 o'clock, Tigers Guardians on ABC. They moved that game to the network. Tigers Guardians at 3. Then the 4-letter network takes over beginning at 5 o'clock. Oh, the shadows early in the Padres-Cubs game. Figure it favors the pitchers. 5 o'clock on ESPN, San Diego and the Cubs. And then 8 o'clock, prime time. Red Sox, Yankees. Loser goes home.
And I have not taken in a lot. I didn't take hardly any of the Dodgers series in either night. I went to bed. I'll be brutally honest with you. I was tired. I'm old. But the atmosphere at Wrigley and in the Bronx is absolutely spectacular. If you could dial up wild card series, and it would have been the same in Fenway, and I'm not knocking Cleveland, but you look at these great old ballparks and the new Yankee Stadium, obviously, but being at Wrigley and the Yankee fans, it does add a little bit to this wild card round. At least to me it does, David.
ESPN getting a lot of what they wanted in what could be the last playoff games that ESPN airs for quite a while. Because they opted out of their deal effective at the end of this season, and this season ends today for ESPN in terms of broadcasting baseball. The word is they may have like a Wednesday night game of the week throughout the spring and summer going forward, but their days of Sunday night baseball and airing playoffs seems to be over.
We'll start looking ahead to the weekend today. Roy Cummings to talk about the Bucs. JP Shadrick to talk about the Jags. They've got a big one. Home game for David. And Jeff Cameron to talk about the Knowles and the Canes. Do you feel like you've been cheated a touch by the Knowles losing on Friday night?
It has taken so much steam out of this. I think we would have been talking about it all week. Game day would have been there, and what a scene that would have been. That would have been the U.S. Ryder Cup all over again. I mean,
Florida State fans would have been probably embarrassed they would have felt really good in the mob mentality on Saturday and been embarrassed by Monday morning.
Yes. because I think the vitriol towards ESPN and Kirk Herbstreit would have been Ryder Cup-esque. And yes, would have felt good at the time, and it would have looked very bad, and they would have been filleted nationally. Mm-hmm.
Instead, game day is in Alabama for Vanderbilt and Alabama.
Hello.
You heard that correctly. Vandy, about 10.5 point underdogs at Bama.
Mm-hmm.
A revenge game for Bama. When have we ever said that about Vanderbilt and Alabama?
Certainly not during the Nick Saban era, Mark. That's for sure. Miller and Moulton, the starting five in 25 minutes.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It's interesting, Michael. Pavia or Jake Cutler? Purdy's out.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this first Thursday of October. You got over the hump yesterday. Hope it's been a good week for you. If not, let's finish it strong. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A reminder, Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe sponsoring, well, I don't know if they're sponsoring, but they are providing 2 poll questions for you to decide for them what games that they should be airing inside their sports bar, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. What game should get the primary audio? And if you show up on Sundays wearing your team's jersey, well, there's special Bud and Bud Light pricing for you. So go vote. Best 1 o'clock game, best 4 o'clock game that you want to see and hear at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe. We putting up the, what are you watching tonight?
Well, we are putting up that if you could only watch one game, because David, they let me know, the Xfinity customers out there said they can split the screen. So pretty much everybody out there has the ability to watch both at the same time.
Right, except me, right? And the funny thing is I'm one of those customers, and yet I don't know how to do it.
I don't think it's that hard.
It probably
you
is.
have a almost 4-year-old granddaughter. Bring her over today. I'm sure she can show you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think I'm planning to go see her. All right, this afternoon, maybe I'll bring a notepad and a pen, and I'll say, okay, honey, talk me through this. How do I do it again? Well, Grandpa. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. If I could just take some food back with me, that'd be great. 21,000 is the text line. Whatever's on your mind. 3-game threes tonight in baseball, Thursday night football. I'll tell you what. If the Niners can go and win tonight and they own the Rams, this NFC West that most of us don't pay attention to, they got some crazy dominating rivalries in this division. And the Niners own the Rams. But Mark, no Purdy. They're already without Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Nick Bosa. Oh, yeah, the two guys who were starting at receiver because of their earlier injuries, Pearsall and Jennings, yeah, they're both out. I mean, literally, the Niners are without their starting quarterback and 4 wide receivers, arguably their top 4, and Kittle at tight end. How many points are they going to score tonight? What's the over-under in this game? 45.5? Man, I got to go under.
Unless
we get...
There's a lot of turnovers and some short fields. How can you not?
Unless we're getting some defensive scores, special team scores, my, oh my. And the injuries very much being taken into account. I got the game at 8.5.
And it jumped because it was, I thought, in the 5 range before the Purdy news came out yesterday. Thought it was 4.5 yesterday.
And
but
it's
I'm not
and it's
positive.
Purdy, Pearsall, Jennings also. It's the quarterback and the 2 starting wide receivers who were not supposed to be the starting wide receivers.
Right. Yeah, there's part of me in a survival league saying, do you just take the Rams and be done with it for this week? And I hate doing division games in those type of formats.
I know you do. I know you do.
I've used, I don't have a strategy. It's not that much money where I'm planning out the whole year. Played golf with the guy last week who was out in Vegas, and they're in one. It's $1,000 a team. There are a lot of teams, like a couple 100,000 teams. It's like $20 million to the winner type money.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. And they had to pay a proxy out there to make their picks for them. That you strategize. Me, I just try to find one each week and get to the next week.
Right.
So
like
Rams
it was real easy.
8.5. But yes, David, we have the poll question up for those of you that still don't know how to work your remote control. And I'm really only talking to one person. I don't want anybody in the audience on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line to say, I know how to do that. I know you know how to do that. We all know how to do that. I'm talking to David.
Right. He's talking to me. Okay. This is co-host passive aggressive, although it's really not passive. It's being in your face. In fact, I'm surprised he didn't put it in the poll question. For those of you who can't split your screen, comma, Moulton, comma, what are you forced to watch tonight? Right.
But if you only could watch one, what are you watching? And David, for me, it's not close. And I don't care what the football game is. It's a win or go home game. I'm watching baseball. It's October, damn it.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah!
Will you do me a favor during the commercial break?
No, because I know what you're going to ask, and I'm not going to do it.
Will you ask your wife if she knows how to split the screen?
Oh, I know she doesn't. I've watched TV with her for 30 plus years. I know she doesn't.
How come I think she could?
Fine. Name the bet.
No. I'm not saying she knows how. I'm saying that I think if given the task, by the end of the 7:00 hour, she would have it figured out.
I think if you gave her the task, by the end of the 6:00 hour, the TV would no longer work. Okay, so don't mess up my big TV in the living room. Okay, please.
Ah, fantastic.
Please just leave us in our somewhere between 1975 and 1995 life alone.
Now, you'll watch all 3 games today, won't you? You'll lock in. You mean you love baseball. You love the playoffs. I really should almost include you with my Yankees buddy on a text line, because once I start with him with a text, because last night the Red Sox tried to bunt a couple of players over.
Right.
And they pop it up.
Yep.
And it disgusts me. As much as you hate the starting pitching not being able to get past the 4th inning, the fact that a Major League Baseball player can't get a bunt down drives me absolutely crazy. And I know we don't bunt as much as we used to. Small ball is not played. But you would think athletes of this caliber could put a bunt down, not pop a bunt up and ruin the inning. And once I said, my text was, I know it's not your team, but how the hell do you not get a bunt down? And he just texts back, lost art. And that opened the floodgates, because then every pitch from then until the end of the game, I know he's watching alone. And now he's like, ooh, I've got somebody to talk to.
I know. I was shocked when he turned around to bunt for the first time. I went, wait a minute. Are they actually going to sacrifice the runners over and give up an out? Oh, the analytics crowd is losing their minds right now. Okay. Would have scored him at least 1 run if they had gotten the bunt down. But anyway.
And the big run in the game was what? A runner going from first all the way home on a hit down the line.
Oh, my goodness. A guy running on the pitch, scoring from first on a single. Oh, no, speed. 1 run at a time. Being aggressive. Boy, that was boring. No fun in that. Head first slide across home ahead of the tag. Where have we seen that before?
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
You know, Shimko, probably not very many, to be brutally honest. There were a lot of lunch bets, a lot of anywhere between, $5, $10, $20 bets. I don't know if we ever paid them off.
So I just went and had a conversation with my wife and told her what we were talking about and said, "So could you split the screen?" She goes, "Oh no." She goes, "Oh no." I said, Mark wants us to get our nearly 4-year-old granddaughter to do it for us. And she said, yes.
Funny, DTW, I just texted him the same thing.
I appreciate you guys trying to help. I really do. And maybe this afternoon I'll give it a try, or early evening. So I just want to make this stupid, naive question. You can split the screen and one can be streaming and the other can be cable?
No, it's both cable. With Xfinity, you're just using cable. You're not streaming anything. They have the ability now to put multiple things up at once. They used to have like the picture-in-picture. Now it's a split screen.
But one of the things I would watch is on streaming.
No, they would both be on cable.
Okay.
I can watch 4 things at once, but I get all of my TV via streaming. It doesn't change the way you get your TV. It just allows you to watch 2 things at once.
All right. Oh, Puck, I'd be surprised if I don't have compatible equipment.
Do you have voice commands on your
Yeah.
Xfinity? Then yeah, you I think you literally could just tell it.
Okay. We'll see. We'll venture out there.
Oh, this is going to be a great segment tomorrow at 6:21. I'm telling you right now. That's true. You are right. You are right. You probably can't double screen. You're right, because it's on Amazon. So that is a very good point, everyone.
Right. That's what I was trying to
you couldn't do that. But I'm saying, like, if you wanted to watch, if it were a Monday, I know you're working Monday night, in theory, on Saturday or Monday or whatever the case.
But like this past Monday's, people beginning at 8:15 could have had both games on at the same time.
Correct.
Right. Who and what barn burners they were.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Roy Cummings to talk the Bucs. Jeff Cameron to talk Florida State, Miami, or Miami, Florida State, however you view it. And JP Shadrick in the bonus hour to talk the JAGS. Jags. Are you going to have to bring that chant back, by the way, to the house?
You know, it's amazing that it is still an incredibly sore subject with my wife.
Wow. That was 8 years ago.
I know, but I don't know if you're aware of this, David. Women don't forget things. Ever.
They hold grudges?
For a long time. In this case, 8 years. Because not only did I do it, I had her only child, the person that she loves far more than her husband.
Right.
At that time, her baby girl doing the chant with me.
Yes.
And laughing while she did it. Because after all, she is her father's daughter.
For those that don't know, when the Jags run to the AFC title game 8 years ago, the second playoff win was in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And Mark was very much on the Jacksonville Jaguars train. And so that became like his team. And he got a dog collar for the dog. And the dog would always wear the Pittsburgh teams with the occasional Red Wings collar.
Right.
Okay, that could be put on. Okay, but otherwise it was Penguins, it was Steelers. And all of a sudden, after the playoff game, the dog comes out with the Jags collar on, and Mark and his daughter are waiting, and the wife looks up, and they go, Jags, 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 Jags. And apparently, it's been very cold in the bedroom since.
Yep. One kid. Figure it out. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Probably is for the best. Our wives have no interest in listening to this show, right?
Thank goodness.
We'll start with baseball. 4 game 2s, and we're going to have 3 game 3s. Yankees, Austin Wells gets credit for the RBI single, but Jazz Chisholm won this game. First off, when it was 3-3 in the top of the 7th, he made a spectacular diving backhand stop to prevent a ball from leaving the infield, and if it had, the Red Sox would have scored the go-ahead run. Yankees got out of that jam, and then an inning and a half later, he is running on the pitch from first, and he's able to score on a single by Austin Wells in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-3 to even that series. Game 3 tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPN.
They got a little break on that play, too, because it hit the tarp. It was kind of a funky ball. Everything went the right way on that single for the Yanks.
Dodgers sweep the Reds. 8-4 was the final. They scored 4 in the 6th to pull away and win. Dodgers will be in Philadelphia for the divisional round beginning Saturday. Guardians force a game 3. They scored 5 in the 8th because the Tigers, they had so many damn ducks on the pond. 15 left on base for the Tigers.
I think Spencer Torkelson just struck out again, everybody.
Or popped out to shallow left with runners on second and third and nobody out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
6-1 Cleveland, game 3, 3 o'clock today on ABC. And the Padres force a deciding game 3. Manny Machado with a 2-run homer. 3-0 Padres over the Cubs. They'll play 5 Eastern, 4 Central on ESPN. Lots of baseball news yesterday, off the field, so to speak. Brian Snitker will not return as manager of the Braves. Imagine, by the way, you are Brian Snitker. You are 69 years old. You have spent 49 years of your life in the Braves organization. You were in the minors for nearly the first 40 years of that career. And you get to the majors and you have a 10-year managerial career in which you take them to the playoffs 7 times, 6 times winning the division title. And oh, by the way, you were the manager 4 years ago when they won the World Series. Snitker will stay on as an advisor, so he can complete 50 years with the Braves. They will put him into their Hall of Fame next year. The Rockies, who ended up losing 119 games, by the way, fired their general manager. Really? Bill Schmidt. He'd been with the Rockies over 25 years, but the last 4 as GM. And Mark, he did a hell of a job. In 3 of the 4 years, they lost over 100 games. I can't believe it took them this long to fire him. The team has decided they're going to go outside the organization for a replacement. Really? You think you need some new thinking, do you? The Giants came out yesterday. Buster Posey said, yeah, Bruce Bochy, love him, played for him. He's not a candidate for the open manager's job. By the way, we got a lot of openings.
Yes, we do.
Giants, Braves, Twins, Rangers, Angels, Pirates, and Nats. Oh, my. All with openings, and who knows, depending on who wins and loses today and tonight, there could be more.
I mean, that could be a poll question if we did more baseball. Is Boone's job on the line tonight?
Sidebar. So Boone heavily criticized for taking Max Fried out with 1 out and nobody on in the 7th of game 1 in a 1-0 lead. Boone last night has a situation, and he has his reliever completely warmed up and ready to go. And Rodon gets the first 2 guys on base in the 6th. First and second, nobody out. And Boone comes out of the dugout. And Boone doesn't usually come out of the dugout and not change pitchers. But he talked to Rodon, who looked him in the face and said, I'm good. I got this. And Boone went back in the dugout. And Rodon got out of it. So Boone won't admit he made a mistake in game 1, but he left the better pitcher in game 2, and he got him 3 more outs. NFL tonight, Thursday Night Football, pair of 3-1 teams in the NFC West. 8:15 on Amazon. The Niners will be at SoFi to take on the Rams. The Niners will not have Brock Purdy, the 2 starting wide receivers in Pearsall and Jennings. Never mind, they're still without George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and they'll be without Nick Bosa for the whole year. And because of that, the Rams are 8.5-point favorites tonight with an over-under of 45.5. I know, Mark, you don't like to do this, but don't you have to tease the Rams down to 2.5 and tease the over-under up to 51.5 and take the Rams and the under?
Look at you.
How do you not?
A little Thursday night two parlay or 2-game teaser, if you will.
Little teaser action. I'm thinking of getting greedy here because, I mean, I guess the Niners could win and ruin it. But, boy, if they do. Whew. Browns, they did it during our show yesterday, officially benched Joe Flacco for Dylan Gabriel. So he will start for Cleveland in London Sunday when they take on the Vikings. The sidebar is that Shadrick Sanders, who people are still talking about and mostly not saying good things about. And so when they approached Shadrick yesterday, because Wednesday is the day, by the way, that they open the locker rooms in the NFL, usually from noon to 1, wherever you are located in the country. Okay, they open the locker rooms for an hour and you talk to who it is you want to talk to. And so when the media went up to Shadrick Sanders answered all their questions as a mime. Right. Okay. Some found it funny. Some found it incredibly immature. And how in the world is this guy ever going to lead a team? So kind of depends on your perspective. Former Dolphin cornerback Xavier Howard retired yesterday. The 32-year-old unretired and came back, and the Colts signed him in August, and he started the first 4 games of the year. He had a very rough time Sunday against the Rams. I mean, he was trying to guard Puka Nacua. That's a tough day at the office. I think Howard gave up 13 catches for 170 yards. Anyway, he retired, even though the Colts had no plans to cut him. Hell, the Colts had no plans to even demote him. But Howard retired, and he said, it's time to put my family first. Okay. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, he says he will play Sunday at the Chargers. The team has not come forward and said that, but he has said, yeah, I'm good to go. Now, he tried to say that last week, which really has me wondering, what is this injury and what is the extent of it? An interesting college football story. ESPN was the one that reported yesterday that the Big Ten is in deep discussions with 3 private equity companies to infuse, quote, at least, unquote, $2 billion into the league and its schools. And in doing so, they would extend their grant of rights deal 10 more years through 2046. There's lots of layers to this story. Maybe we'll get into it and give it a whole segment later on. It's complicated. At least I find it to be. Mark, maybe it's really simple for you.
No, I don't think it's simple, but there are a lot of layers, and I'd like to get into it a little later in the show.
Deal.
I don't think 2 minutes is enough time to discuss all of the layers, if you will.
By the way, there is
some WNBA playoffs, don't you?
Oh, look at that shot across the bow. There is a college football game tonight if, well, you're a compulsive gambler. Sam Houston is a 2.5-point favorite visiting New Mexico State. And for those of you like me who's going to experiment with splitting your screen on your TV, I guess I'll have Yankees Red Sox on one side, and beginning at 9 o'clock tonight on CBS Sports Network, I'll put Sam Houston and New Mexico State on the other. Hey, the NHL season starts up Tuesday night. By the way, did anybody catch the promo during Padres Cubs?
Wow. Probably should have the audio for that up. May grab it later.
So it's Kevin Brown and Ben McDonald. They do Orioles games together, so they have really good chemistry. Brown is reading the full screen promo. Remember, they're in Chicago, and they just showed Bedard and 2 other Blackhawks in the crowd whooping it up. And they promo Tuesday night, season's going to begin, Blackhawks and Panthers at 5 o'clock. First game of the season. And Kevin Brown makes the mistake of saying to Ben McDonald, you'll be watching that, right? And Ben is not playing along. And Ben said, yeah, I can guarantee you there's absolutely no chance I'll be watching that. And Kevin Brown says, well, what will you be doing? And he goes, anything but watching that. All righty then. Way to go, Ben. ESPN pays $400 million a year to watch that. But all right. Devils defenseman Luke Hughes signs a 7-year, $63 million extension. Avs defenseman Eric Johnson retires after a 17-year career. He helped Colorado win the 2022 Cup. PGA Tour, Mark, back in action in Mississippi with the Sanderson Farms Championship. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories. And, well, I definitely ain't going to be watching hockey. That wasn't a good Ben McDonald accent, but he does have a Southern accent. It's Louisiana, and, well, I botched it.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it
Mark
real.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
By the way, I'm sure you, unless you said it and I didn't hear it, do me a favor. I'm going to text you what I think Jeff's email is, because his name doesn't come up.
Yeah, I got it.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. I thought so. It popped up. I thought that's what it was, but when I don't have a last name, I get a little nervous. Baker didn't practice yesterday with with a knee and a bicep. That I know it's Wednesday, and I know he'll play. I'm not at all worried that he won't play, but that's going to start getting concerning.
Well,
When we're in week 5.
mm-hmm.
By the way, I appreciate someone asking if I had a showing or a tea time today. But if you're basing it off the golf shirt, I wear a golf shirt to work every single day.
Right.
They're way more comfortable than T-shirts. And this just in, I run hot.
Mm-hmm.
The T-shirts accentuate the pit stains. The golf shirts hide them.
See?
Fantasy hockey draft tonight, David.
Wow. Feel the excitement. Is your son also a Tigers fan or no?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so your guys' mood will be either you guys will be in a really good mood or you'll be grumpy.
Wow. Butera just responded, I put the poll question up and he responded to me because I said Red Sox, Yankees, all the way. And he's like, I'm with you, but I'm guessing the NFL will get 4 to 5 times the audience. It was staggering seeing next day ratings at Waterman. Football is a monster. That's an interesting thing because it's ESPN versus Amazon. I mean, football will beat it. 4 to 5 times, that sound about right to you?
Yeah. Yeah, probably 4 times. It could be 3 times because the Yankees, Red Sox, but yeah, I would go. I think it'll be like 3 million baseball, 12 million football.
I can't help it. I fired about maybe 2 minutes of TikTok this morning. The second thing that came up was Keith Jackson calling a wide right. Oh, God, it was great.
No, I bet it was. I was there for wide right 3.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this first Thursday of October. We've got consequential baseball. 3-team seasons are ending today and tonight, and the football season kicks off. 1 game in the NFL, and well, only if you're a degenerate gambler, 1 game in college football. But that's our poll question, by the way. If you can only watch 1 tonight, which one are you watching? Yankees, Red Sox, or Niners, Rams? Early voting, slight edge baseball. Don't worry, football will win. It's football after all. Football will win.
How much will it win by?
It is Yankees, Red Sox, and also it's Niners, Rams. Week 5 of a regular season versus the deciding playoff game. I say 60-40 football.
From a rating standpoint, if Yankees Red Sox does a really good number on ESPN tonight, what would that be in your estimation?
4 million.
4 million. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
No, you're pretty much spot on with these things. And to put that in perspective, I believe Alabama, Georgia was just over 10 million on Saturday night, and Penn State, Oregon was around 8 for the college football games on Saturday night. And this is an Amazon NFL game. So, I mean, this is damn near pay-per-view.
Earlier this year, in June, not a great time to attract a large audience. But in June, the Yankees and the Red Sox game aired on Fox. I don't know if it was a 4 o'clock Eastern or a 7 o'clock Eastern. I'm guessing it was a 7 o'clock Eastern, but Mark, it drew 3 million. It was the highest, or I should say most watched regular season baseball game on any network in 3 years. ESPN had a Yankees-Red Sox game on 6 weeks ago. It did 2.5 million viewers on Sunday Night Baseball. Now, it's a playoff game.
It's a good TV night. It's not Sunday night, but Thursday night's a really good TV night. Number 2 to Sunday night as far as viewership.
Going up against the NFL, Thursday Night Football does 12 to 14 million on average. Sometimes a little less depending on the game. So will this cut into it at all? I'm curious. The person who's like, I don't know if this interests me, but it's football, so what the heck? I'll put it on for an hour or so and see what's going on. I'm wondering, does a deciding baseball game cut into that?
I would like to hope so. I mean, the one thing we found, and I know it's not the end of the season. This isn't Game 7 of the World Series or even an ALCS. But you and I have noticed by television numbers and by our audience, when there's a game of consequence, people are far more interested in that than regular season games without consequence. And these are two teams that most people have a feeling about, one way or the other. Now, in a lot of cases, you may hate both. You're a Midwestern guy. You probably don't like either team. So maybe that tunes you out completely.
Now, I will say the Yankees and the Red Sox played a one-game wild card game, I believe, in 2021, or maybe they played a deciding game in 2021. But, Mark, that game drew between 7 and 8 million viewers, and it was on ESPN. So maybe I'm underselling how many are going to watch tonight.
I think it'll do 6 million minimum.
Okay.
That's my nut. If we put the over under at 6, I would lean over. For the record, for all you older baseball fans out there, if you're a Red Sox fan, you gave this gentleman his middle name today in 1978.
Uh-huh.
If you're a Yankee fan, he became a hero to you today in 1978. Because, well, it was game 163, right?
Sure was. It was a Monday afternoon at Fenway.
Ron Guidry, his 25th win of the season. But that wasn't the story.
Mike Torres for the Red Sox took a 2-0 lead into the 7th? 6th or 7th, was it? But he's got a 2-0 lead in the late afternoon. And then Bucky flipping Dent. Yep. Raced home from junior high to probably picked up the game in about the 3rd inning when I got home. Had to get clearance from Mom to put the TV on because I wasn't allowed to put the TV on until my homework was done. And I'm like, come on, Mom, can I watch the baseball game and then do the homework? And so Mom let me. But also, to show how old we are, I took the transistor radio to school. Okay, I was listening to the first 2 innings with my head down on the desk, pretending I wasn't feeling well and I was asleep.
And obviously, I'm a little bit younger than you. I didn't take the transistor to school, but I walked to school. And it wasn't far. And ran through the cornfield on the way home to get the television on to watch the game.
Yep.
And then my dad got home a little later because I used to get home a little after 3. My dad usually made it home by about 4:15. He worked first shift, 7:30 to 3:30. And he'd get home around 4:15 by the time he got out of work and did his thing. And we watched that game together. Bucky Dent. Yankees win. Does that make you think that there's a little karma on the side of the Bronx Bombers today.
Well, also is the third time the charm just in this Aaron Boone, Alex Cora managerial thing. I mean, the Red Sox and Yankees, this is the third time they're meeting during these guys' tenure, and the Red Sox have won the first two meetings in the playoffs. So it's the
And as
third
we
time
pointed
the
out
charm.
yesterday, the Red Sox have owned the Yankees this year.
Yeah. What's it, 10-5 now after last night?
Yeah.
Bucky flipping dent is when I knew the Yankees were in trouble in 2004. They're obviously, Yankees won the first three, and the Red Sox came back and won. But the Yankees would make a big deal out of who was throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. And usually they would reach, well into their history with very prominent players. But having lost 3 games in a row, the Yankees had Bucky Dent throw out the first pitch before Game 7 against the Red Sox. And I saw that as a sign of panic, of desperation, going, oh, my goodness. Like, this was their voodoo doll when they put Bucky out to throw this. And I'm like, oh, wow, they're panicking. The Yankees are absolutely freaking out. They didn't call Yogi or Whitey or what have you. Okay. They didn't go royalty. They went with, karma. Oh, so that's what you're going with? You're panicking. I obviously I can overread a 3-car funeral, but that's when I saw him throw out the first pitch, I went, oh, the Yankees are in trouble tonight, aren't they? They think they're in trouble.
So Yankees, Red Sox tonight, 8:00. It's part of our poll question. If you could only watch one, the football game, Rams and Niners. The Niners roster looks like it's a replacement team right now, or an elimination game in baseball. And David, I think right now you'd be pretty pleased with where we stand early going, because over 60% of the audience says if they could only watch one, they would watch baseball.
All right. That's, you know what? Nice of you to pat me on the head that way and placate me. I appreciate you doing that. Don't worry. I know how the vote's going to end, but I appreciate the early returns. I do. The early voting, I appreciate that. I do. Thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel better.
And David, if you thought you saw a lot of relief pitchers yesterday, I can't imagine what we're going to see today across the 3 games.
Wait a minute. There's a starting pitcher. Does he have 2 men on and 1 out? Get him out of there. It's the second inning. Get him out. There's 2 men on base. How's he ever going to escape this?
Cleveland, their pitching has been unbelievable. Detroit right now they're going to a 3rd game. Detroit has 1 earned run in the 2 games. 1.
And 3 runs total. Right.
The Cubs and Padres have played, a 3-1 and a 3-0 game.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yankees and Red Sox, a little more offense.
Oh, yeah, it's been busting. They've scored, Red Sox have outscored the Yankees 6-5 so far through 2 games. I mean,
right. This is firepower. This is electric.
Yep. For that, you need to stay up and watch the Dodgers-Reds. 10-5, 8-4.
And oh, by the way, Mookie Betts, after a good September, had 4 hits last night.
Right. Tell you what, though, they need to put him back in right field because Teoscar Hernandez cannot play right field. That's like putting one of us out there. That's going to cost him. It cost him 2 runs last night. It'll cost him against the Phillies.
And he's my favorite Dodger simply because I happened to watch a Sunday night baseball game when they had him mic'd up, and he was fantastic. I'm like, I like this guy. I didn't know anything about him, knew the name, but didn't know anything about him, and watched a Sunday night baseball game when he was mic'd up. And I'm like, this guy's fun. I like him. I can root for this guy.
And a terrific hitter, but he cannot play right field, and that's the spot that they've jammed him in. And every fly ball's an adventure. Miller and Moulton. Roy Cummings to talk Tampa Bay Bucs in
And the
about
Cubs.
45 minutes. Oh, yeah, and the Cubs.
Miller and Moulton.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I just watched a little video of Dan Orlovsky during that break, David. Apparently, Baltimore is 32nd in rushing attempts with their running back on first and second down. Yet when they do run it, they're 6th in yards per carry. So basically, they're not giving Derrick Henry the ball at all on first or second down. That's kind of interesting. It had Orlovsky shocked and appalled.
So in other words, Dan, they're trying to throw to set up the run. And I'm sure he's saying at this point they need to just run the ball.
Yes.
I was 12, did he?
Whoever does Monday morning quarterback, Connor Orr. This is a post from 2 minutes ago. Connor Orr talks to Mike Westhoff, the godfather of special teams, who explains the 3 reasons for the NFL's blocked kickback epidemic. Beat you to it, Connor. Beat you to it, my man.
I'm wondering, though, if Mike just let it rip with him, expletives and all.
I don't know. I doubt it.
I was in 8th grade for Bucky Flippin' Dent.
Did you graduate in 83 high school?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'd have been in 4th. Yep. Havens Elementary, running home from school. Thank you very much, DTW. It was a better segment with my phone call on the way home from gymnastics. A much better segment. It was the same exact content. It was just full on Mike.
Herbert Hoover Junior High School. It's 2 miles from our apartment. I was supposed to take the bus, and I stopped. And I was walking to and from. Honked my mother off so much. I didn't realize she had to pay for the bus.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
I guess it was extra. Because not everybody qualified for the bus. I think it depended on where you lived,
Right.
you know. And we just apparently fit. Once again, I was able to get things by my mom, but her friends kept outing me. That was another one. One of her friends, said, yeah, I saw David walking to school. My mother was like, what? Thanks. Gym teacher, Mr. Blaywas. We were standing in line getting buttered rolls together at Sunnyside, a couple miles from my high school. Yeah, I should have been in school, but I was cutting first period. I always cut first period. I got buttered rolls, and hell, I brought coffee to school for teachers. You know, I was like a delivery person. I was a senior. They were like, yeah, just get out of here. And so he goes to school and he says, yeah, I was, saw David at breakfast this morning. My mom's like, what? So, yeah, that was fun. Yes, Paul. It did. It got me ready for the Domino's career a few years later.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Roy Cummings to join us in 40 minutes' time. We'll talk Cubs Padres for about 2 minutes, and then we'll spend about 12 talking the Tampa Bay Bucs, who do not have an easy one this week.
We better start with the Bucs, because if we start with the Cubs, he's not gonna quit. I mean, he's waving the flag to start the segment today.
He probably will be wearing something Cubs.
I hope so. That's his favorite
segment.
team. For those that don't know,
Yeah,
that is his team. He is a Cubs fan, true and true.
But Roy Cummings in about 40 minutes to talk the Bucs at some point. Jeff Cameron to talk Canes Knowles Saturday night in Tallahassee. And JP Shadrick in our bonus hour to talk about the 3-1 Jags who get a home game Monday Night Football. That's a BFD in Jacksonville.
Darn right.
Although, if I'm a Jags fan, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to see Joe and Troy. We had a really good thing going until Joe and Troy showed up 2 years ago. And we lost 5 out of 6, and we had the 24 season that we had. Just to get these guys out of here. So we'll see if Joe and Troy can break their jinx, because the Jags were cruising along till we showed up 2 years ago.
The Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. Pelican Roofing of Florida, statewide. Whatever your roofing needs are, commercial or residential, call today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. 866-9-PELICAN. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. A texter sends in about what are you going to watch, and we know people split the screen, although tough to split the screen when one's on Amazon and one's on regular TV, for the record. But betting on both, he says, and as a degenerate, I'll be throwing down on the college game too.
Wow, Sam Houston at New Mexico State. Put it this way. How many of you know the team's, like, nicknames, if you will?
I couldn't tell you what Sam Houston State is. New Mexico State's the Aztecs, right?
I thought they're the Aztecs or the Aggies.
Who?
Because New Mexico's the Lobos.
Right, that I knew.
Right.
That one I knew. You're pushing me with New Mexico State.
I don't know. I'm just, you could be right. I don't know. For some reason in my head, I have Aggies. But you're probably right.
Here's the thing. What conference are these teams in?
I'm going to guess Conference USA. No?
Yes. They are the Aggies. David was right. Points for you.
Wow, that's a solid pull right there.
That's really good.
I'm impressed with myself. So, all right. 7 minutes, enough time to talk about the $2 billion private equity infusion that the Big Ten's apparently pursuing?
I think so. I think that it is. It's fascinating to me that this is happening, but there's part of me, and I don't know where, and I don't mean you, David, I don't know where the audience is on down the road, the Super League that's been talked about. I mean, this has been always kind of out there. Will the SEC and the Big Ten take some other teams from the Power Four and form their own college football super conference? If you're on the side of the super conference, then I don't think this is a good thing for you. If you are against the super conference and you want to keep the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC and the Big 12, then I believe this is, well, I guess to your benefit, but is it? Because now, the way I read through this initially, and David, you're right, there are a lot of layers. Not only will anything that's done help the big schools in the Big Ten, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Penn States, the Oregons, but how I read through this is this will do wonders for the middle to bottom part of the conference with the cash infusion that they would get.
Oh, yeah, it'd be 9 figures. Yeah, I mean, $100 million.
You know, for me, I'm a Sparty. This is supposedly good for Michigan State. This is good for Minnesota. This is good for Rutgers.
Yes, it is. And so, needless to say, who is hesitant about this? And reportedly, according to Pete Thamel and a couple of others at ESPN, that Petitti wants this to be a unanimous vote. He doesn't want to do it unless everybody's on board. Right now, Ohio State and Michigan are not on board. They're like, please explain to us how this is better for us than potentially what it is we could do.
And I would be fascinated just in that, David, if 15 teams want to do it, and Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon, because I think Oregon has more money than Penn State. I do. It's probably close, but I think the Nike money is, well, always going to be there for the Ducks.
I'm guessing Penn State's endowment is bigger, but yes, ability to get cash quickly, I would go Oregon.
So if it's 15-3 or 14-4, and you're Minnesota, Nebraska, Michigan State, Iowa, you know, the rest of the conference, you'd be looking at Petitti going, you have to be unanimous? Are you kidding me right now? We're just going to continue like we have from the beginning of time to make sure Michigan and Ohio State have the advantages and we don't.
And that's where Petitti goes, we're not much of a conference without Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State and one or two others.
They'd still be Michigan, Ohio State.
Right.
And I mean, they would.
You're right. But what Petitti could look at, you know, the Rutgers of the world and go, you know, if they break away and want to do their own thing and join forces, they're going to have a hell of a television contract, and they're probably going to make more money than they are staying in the Big Ten. So just cool your jets. But first off, my understanding is Ohio State and Michigan and maybe one or two others are going, yeah, this $100 million or so to each school. No, we're not getting the same as Purdue. That's number one. So how much of this are we getting? And then number two, explain to me the long-term benefit of this. Or is this just a short-term cash infusion? And I'll say it again, and I'd love for somebody who deals in this to explain it to me. How in the world are you getting your money back? $2 billion.
I understand what it says, just so those of you listening understand. And David, you can believe this or not believe this, but according to the piece that I have in front of me, that the Big Ten would then have 20 equity stakes. 18, one for each member of the Big Ten, one for the league, and one for the investor. So that the money coming in would be split 20 ways, and the investor would be getting their money back as essentially an equal member of the conference going forward.
Mark, do you know how long it takes to break even on $2 billion?
I understand. I am just merely telling you how they plan on doing it. Now, the other side of it is that this investor would then be trying to look for new ways for the conference to make money. And you and I have wondered this, not just today about the Big Ten. When the Big 12 was talking about this, when other conferences have talked about private equity, you and I have asked people who are smarter than us about this. How do they get their money back? And no one's been able to give us an answer that we think generates the cash that they need to get back.
Supposedly, in what is being discussed, the Big Ten, Tony Batiti, if you will, would still run the conference. That this would be a silent investor.
$2 billion silent investor.
Right. Excuse me. Wait, I don't get a vote? I don't get a say. Do I get to come to Chicago every year? I mean, do I get to take part in Big Ten Media Days? Can I get my own table with a placard letting people know who I am? I mean, do I get anything out of this? But would you be a silent investor for $2 billion?
Brady isn't a silent investor in the Raiders.
And he didn't fork over $2 billion. Miller and Moulton.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So did you see two planes just collided at LaGuardia?
No.
I mean, I'm taxiing. One was landing, one was taking off. One person was injured. No, nothing. But yes, basically on the tarmac, two planes collided. Wing ripped off of one plane, supposedly. I have never known less about pop culture in my life. You've got me on the post. I look at some of these like celebrities and people that are dating and have no clue who they are and don't care. I think it's the downfall of television, if you will. The celebrities used to be movie stars and actors and actresses, and I don't watch any of it.
Well, and now they're influencers.
Right. And David, they don't care what I think, but someone wants to know where you think the best place to sit for a baseball game is.
I'm sorry, what?
Someone wants to know where you think the best seats are for a baseball game. They specifically said David.
Got 10 rows behind a dugout personally, but although I will say the first couple rows of like the mezzanine or an upper deck behind home plate, pretty cool. I used to get those at Shea.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Roy Cummings joins us at that time. Jeff Cameron, 1 hour from now. How come the spread's so low on the Knowles and the Canes? I mean, isn't it like 4.5, 5?
Yes, it is.
What are we missing here? I mean, Miami's been very impressive this year. Very impressive. All right. Most of us don't think Florida State would beat Alabama a second time, that they got them at the right time of the year. I mean, the young quarterback for Alabama is much better than he was 4 weeks ago. And they just lost at Virginia. I mean, aren't you surprised this isn't closer to 7, 6.5, 7.5, something like that?
I am. I mean, I do think the rivalry plays into a part of this. But, and you're right. I mean, Florida State obviously played Alabama, but Miami's had, good opponents here.
Yeah.
And, they beat Notre Dame. They handled Florida late. But I don't know. Let me ask you this question. Right now, whose defense is better, the Gators or the Knowles? Because I think it's the Gators.
I would agree with that.
And I don't think it's close, by the way.
Right. I mean, obviously, just about everybody's offense is better than the Gators, though.
Well, that goes without saying.
Right.
Sam Houston State might have a better offense than the Gators.
Hello. We still don't know their nickname, do we?
No, I
right.
quit once I found out that it was the Aggies, David. I apologize.
All right, here. While you talk, I'll look it up. Now I have
the
to
Bearcats. The Bearcats with a K, by the way. Bearcats.
Ooh, look at that. Very double-A baseball of them. That's outstanding. So it's the
By the way,
Bearcats
if you're
and the
watching
Aggies.
this and gambling on this, you do have a problem, and we're okay with that. We really are. 1-800-GAMBLER, I guess. But when Phil Steele's magazine comes out, he puts the conferences in order. I mean, he basically ranks the conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Conference USA is behind the MAC. It's considered the worst conference in Division I football. So take it into account. But if you're gambling on it, good for you.
Yeah, Conference USA has been victimized here in recent years with teams moving up, and then that's how it works. The players are trying to move up, schools are trying to move up. But the Bearcats with a K and the Aggies, 9 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Whew.
Wow. But back to the Gators and the Noles. You know, Bud Elliott was on the show yesterday when asked, or basically when talking about the game, he thinks, and Bud watches more film than anybody that we talk to, more film than probably anybody that I know of all the games. He thinks at the line of scrimmage that the Hurricanes are the best team in the country. Didn't say he thinks they're the best team in the country, but he said at the line of scrimmage, they are the best team, both sides, offensive, defense, that they're the best line in the country.
So tell me how Florida State's going to win again? I mean, listen.
I think it's the ability of a quarterback that can beat you with his legs. I mean, that's the X factor in this game. Can they score doing things a little differently? When you look at who Miami's played so far, Lagway hasn't run the ball all year. He's still banged up, so they use him as a thrower. Carr's a thrower, and they want to, Notre Dame wants to pound you with their running game, which, oh, by the way, I had a buddy who, this little sidebar, who, when you said Penn State is the best running game, after Penn State didn't look that good, he wanted you to rethink that between the Penn State and Notre Dame backfield. He's obviously a big Notre Dame fan. But Florida State doesn't have, to me, that running game, but it's all going to be on the quarterback's legs. And what can he do making plays?
Well, and Bud said, for what it's worth, who was the one lesser team that Miami played? Was it Bethune?
Bethune.
And I guess they had a running quarterback, and Bud said, listen, we know Miami didn't prepare for Bethune. They just pretty much just showed up and played, and they overwhelmed them with their talent. But, Bud said, the running quarterback did give them problems. Here's my thing. They had 2 weeks to prepare for the Noles, specifically to gear in on Gus Malzahn's scheme. I mean, don't you think they're going to make sure the quarterback doesn't beat them with their legs? Like, to me, Florida State's going to have to beat Miami throwing the ball. And can they? And now, coming off, let's just split the middle. Florida State's defensive effort against Alabama, Florida State's defensive effort against Virginia. One was very good, one was not. So let's split it down the middle.
Well, and I don't even know if I'll let you do it for sake of argument. But remember also the one thing Bud said this, and if you watched the game, you saw it. The Alabama receivers were open. The quarterback missed him. He was late. So I think the Florida State defense is, if I were to lean one of those games, I would lean more the Virginia game than the Alabama game.
I think what I'm getting at is I'm pretty sure I'm laying the points. And I can respect the rivalry. Yeah, Canes fans right now are going, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Just a reminder at this point of the season, against the spread, David is 10-24.
In fact, right now, who's in worse shape, the Ravens or me?
Whew.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, I'm going to go you because I believe Nico Collins was limited at practice yesterday.
Listen, you know what? I'm glad you went there. And by the way, Ravens-Texans. Ooh. I mean, these two teams met in the second round of the playoffs 2 years ago. They both have won their divisions each of the last 2 years. They're both 1-3. One of these teams, obviously, and I know we can get a tie, but we usually get one a year, and we just got it. All right. one of these teams is going to be 1-4. Wow. Hey, along those lines, you want to humor me for a second? More than you already do? Let's play the schedule game with the Ravens, and let's give them these next 2 weeks. They're home. They're actually home for 3 in a row. But they've got the Texans and the Rams the next 2 weeks. How about we just give them a split?
I think that's fair.
Now, because let's just assume Lamar's not going to play for a couple of weeks. So let's just give them a split. That makes them 2-4. Now, they host the Bears. They're at the Dolphins. They're at the Vikings. Let's give them a loss. Let's, Minnesota's, we think, a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Let's just give them a loss. Let's just say they beat the Bears, they beat the Dolphins, they lose to the Vikings. Okay, that's 4-5. Okay, then they're at Cleveland.
That's a win. I don't care who's playing quarterback for Baltimore. They owns the Browns.
They're home for the Jets.
It should be a win.
They're home for the Bengals.
Win.
Doesn't that have them 7-5 going to Pittsburgh?
Yep. And
okay.
I think the Minnesota game's a toss-up, but I understand it's the NFL. You lose games. You just do.
So if they're 7-5, now let's just say at that point in time the Steelers are, 8-4, something like that. So now all of a sudden the Ravens are playing for first place in the division. Now they got issues right now. They have a ton of injuries. Their defense is awful. And they're giving up 33, 34 points a game. It's absurd.
And they've gone away from who they are. Literally just saw a clip during the break where Baltimore, when they give the ball to Derrick Henry on first and second down, are 6th in the league in yards gained. The problem is they're 32nd in Henry for attempts on first and second down. He's not getting the ball enough early. So they pay attention to this. If that stat's out there, they're aware of it. And they'll change the way they approach games, particularly if Lamar's out. You're going to see a lot more Derrick Henry, but obviously that should mean a different defensive scheme because you don't have to worry about Lamar running.
So their final, we've got them, we're playing the schedule game. We've got them 7-5. They played the Steelers twice. Let's give them a split.
Been that way a lot of years.
They're 8-6. The other 3 games are at Cincinnati. Now, is it possible Burrow's back by December 14th? Possible, but unlikely. Host the Patriots. And then they're at Green Bay right after Christmas.
I'll give them 2 or 3, 10-7.
All right. So we're playing the schedule game with the Ravens, and we still have them going 10-7. Now, 10-7 going to be enough? First off, it's probably not going to be enough to win the North, right?
Probably not. But I could see where 10-7 could be a tie with the Steelers.
Okay.
I think so many people play this schedule game and think all these teams are going to win 11, 12, 13 games. I just don't see the NFL that way.
But, we have and I don't know if we were giving them the benefit of the doubt or we were being conservative, when we just played the schedule game. But I do think, is it possible that the AFC North now is a 1 playoff bid division?
No.
You think so? You definitely because this is where I think
in.
Okay. It didn't in the NFC last year, for what it's worth, and it's the inferior conference these days. But this is where, Mark, to me, is this opening up a second wild card in the South? If let's just say the Ravens play our game and they go 10-7, then they're a wild card. And let's just say we're still going to put 3 teams in the West, like last year. There's 1 wild card left. Doesn't it come down to 10-7 Ravens versus second place AFC South?
Yes, it does. And do you have the confidence in the Jags and the Colts both winning double-digit games?
Well, I've now got the Colts winning the division.
I got you.
Okay, so
I'm just saying, do you think both of those teams will win double-digit games?
Right now, no. No, I don't. But obviously, both teams are 3-1. Most of us did not have them at 3-1. And this is where you get into, like, what if by chance the Jags win Monday night? I mean, they just went out to Frisco. Granted, the Niners were banged up, very banged up. But they did just go to Frisco and win. Something that, come on, Jags don't normally do. Plus, the other thing is, some of you listening to us playing the schedule game with the Ravens going, oh, I don't know. I think you gave them a win or two more than I would. And I will say, Mark, if they don't get their defense in order, 10-7 would be the best case scenario. I mean, they're giving up 33 points a game. You got to be kidding me.
You're right. You're right. Let me just give you this right now. And we can discuss this again on Monday the 20th. Because the next 3 games for the Jags are Kansas City, Seattle, and the Rams.
Right. Seattle and the Rams, are they both on the road?
No. These are all technically home games, but the Rams game is in London.
Oh, okay. So it's Jacksonville, London?
Yes. So I'll reserve judgment on the AFC South until the 20th of this month.
Okay. Fair enough. When we think, by the way, the first college football polls should be coming out.
So, Jacksonville, I'm rooting for you. I love the way your defense is playing. But if you're going to get 2 of 3 of those games, hell, I mean, right now, Jacksonville fan, if I told you went 1-2 over the next 3 games, would you take it? Probably not. But your quarterback play's got to be better if you're going to win 1, let alone 2 of these games. Defense has been great. Can't count on the number of turnovers you've been able to get thus far to continue.
By the way, if you are a Jags fan, of the next 3, if you do go 1-2, you want the win to be Monday night. You want it to be an AFC win. That'll help you in the tiebreakers. The NFC wins will not.
Miller and Moulton. Roy Cummings to talk the Bucs is next. Jeff Cameron to get it in the Knowles and Canes, and JP Shadrick a little more than an hour from now. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
Todd
sound.
and I are local. We're involved in our community. We live here, we work here, we're in our showroom every day. We love working with our guests. We love giving back to our community.
We are so excited about our new store. Same location, same team, new environment. Every day is like a grand reopening. Absolutely stunning when you walk through our doors now. Come experience the newness of the Diamond District. See what we've done.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Roy.
Hey, how we doing?
Oh, nervous as hell about my Tigers. I know you probably feel the same way.
I do. About the Tigers and the Cubs. But
I
you know what? I say this. I like both teams' chances with their third starter and their lineup against the opponents. It's just that I don't know, the Guardians seem to figure out a way, man. I mean,
the Tigers can't score. I mean,
yeah,
they left like what 14 runners on base yesterday. I mean,
15. Yeah.
15. Yeah, I mean they cannot get a timely hit right now.
No, it's really it's a different team than what we saw in June and July. That's for sure.
No doubt.
Same.
I happen to be driving all day on Tuesday and listened to the Cubs broadcast, not the national. I've got Sirius. It was a fun it was so loud, and I know they won, but made it better. But
yeah,
it was just a great. It's so fun sometimes to listen to a baseball game on the radio.
It really is. You're absolutely right. I say the same about a hockey game too. I mean, for whatever reason, it just kind of brings back memories as when I was a kid. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So far, the playoffs are not disappointing us.
No.
Sonny, with the way North Carolina's played offense this year, it's tough to – I know it's tough to count on either team, but Tar Heels have been a mess offensively.
Oh, gosh, haven't they?
Roy, quickly, do the Cubs have enough pitching?
Yes, I think they do.
Okay.
The bullpen's better than a lot of people want to give them credit for. And if they go with Jamison Tyon today,
Which they are.
Yeah, I think they're fine. I honestly think, I think they're fine. I was a little surprised they didn't just start Shota Imanaga yesterday. I know that they just wanted to keep him away from, those right-handed bats and the power that those guys hit or provide. But I would have started him. I think between him, Boyd, and you know what? They came in with Colin Ray in relief yesterday, and he's been as good a starter as anybody else. So I think they're okay. I think they're okay.
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it's hour 3 on a Thursday. And during the football season, that means Roy Cummings, R. Cummings, FHCN is how you follow him on X. Bay News 9 in Tampa, St. Pete, talking Bucs. He's been talking Bucs with us for 20 plus years. We have to get this out of the way. You going to be okay?
I'll be okay either way.
After work today, all right? You're going to be okay? Cubs, Padres, deciding game. Are you going to be all right if it doesn't go your way?
I've been there, done that.
Okay, well, that's true.
I'm very happy they're in the playoffs.
I got you.
And if they can win a round or two, I'll be ecstatic. I do not expect them to win.
I will say, all three of us, we root for teams in which we have learned how to handle losing. I will say that, yes.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
Well, the Bucs lost. I think we all, I don't know about expected it. I did. David and I both picked Philadelphia and the injuries, but, they got some players back. But it wasn't really the injuries that cost them the game. It was a bad start, and they addressed that. It's critical for this team now. They've had to come from behind every game, and they're really taking notice of this. A quick start for the Bucs on the road here would be pretty important, Roy.
Yeah, it would really help. I mean, that quick start, that bad start you mentioned, it lasted for 30 minutes in football time. It went the entire half. And then they came out and played arguably as good a half as they've played all year. And when you think about it, one tipped ball, one great, barely tipped pass by Baker Mayfield away from probably winning that game as well. So, yeah, I don't feel bad about the way – I hate the way they played the first half. That was terrible. The worst thing to me, though, is the injuries. So let's say this. Way back, when we first started this, when we looked at the first 4 games, I think we all agreed that if they were 2-2 through this first 4-game stretch, everybody would think they're in great shape.
Yep.
Well, they're 3-1. Unfortunately, they're a lot more beat up now than they were then. And I'm looking at the depth chart, guys, and I see literally more than a dozen Qs on here and 6 or 8 IRs, and it's just it's potentially devastating for these guys. Their depth chart, the first group doesn't even, it's almost irrelevant. Everything's going to the second and third group now, so it's hard to know, but we'll see what they're made of here. But you're right, a good strong start would help them. They're going to need some confidence in this one. A boost in that would come from a good start, so they need that.
All right, injuries you can't control. You know what you can't control? Special teams.
Yeah.
When did the Bucs become one of the 5 worst special teams in the league? Because, Roy, through the first 4 games of this season, between the kicker trying to give away the Atlanta game, and missing a big kick even in the Houston game that they had to overcome, they've given up lots of big returns. They've had blocked kicks. Seriously. They're bad on special teams. When did this happen, and can they fix it?
They're part of a trend that I see across the league. They're not the only team that's given up a couple of blocked kicks returned for a touchdown. They're not the only team giving up a lot of return yards in the kicking game. It's like there's something going on with special teams in this league, and they're kind of caught up in the middle of it. But, yeah, that's an area they really need to shore up more than anything because, look, as Todd Bowles said, I thought the defense played very well in the second half. They didn't even the Eagles didn't complete a pass in the second half. That's remarkable. That's remarkable. But you're right. Special teams is a real issue, and they've got to address that. I don't know. I'm not sure why some things are happening on special teams that they are. I'm excited about it in some ways. I mean, we've seen more blocks and returns than we've seen, but I think there's a way to manage it too. And the Bucs certainly need to be among the group that figure that out in a hurry.
And you mentioned just about what Philadelphia and their lack of offense in the second half. So far in the season, the Bucs are one of the top 5 teams in yards against. I mean, they're doing a much better job defensively than I think we all thought they would. With that being said, they're still not getting turnovers. I mean, the good thing is Baker and the boys aren't turning it over, but they're not getting the takeaways that they need. I bring it up every week, Roy, but, week 1, it was a dropped interception or 2. They've got to find a way to make life easier on their offense, don't they?
Yeah, they definitely do. And it is about turnovers or just getting off the field. Short fields help, get 3 and outs and that kind of thing. It's hard to do when you can be passed against the way they can, and that's the problem. They're not giving up a lot of yards because they've figured out a way to get off the field for the most part. They're hard to run against still, which is good. As long as that's the case, it really kind of forces teams into a one-dimensional approach. And last week the blitz just didn't work in the first half. It just didn't work. But overall, it is working, and I think that's good for them. But you're right. The takeaways, the good news is, and I've said this, repeatedly, it's kind of like a hockey player who's getting those good opportunities. He's hitting the corners, but the goalie's somehow getting a stick on it or a glove on it, and they're getting the opportunities. That's the good news. They're right in their hands and they're dropping them, or somebody's in the way and 2 guys, collide trying to get the ball. It's kind of odd, but I think they're going to come. They usually come in waves, and the Bucs have been right on the cusp of having a bunch of those, and maybe they need them now more than ever, I would say.
Okay, I'm kind of going forward a month or close to it. The Bengals look like a train wreck, and this looks like this could be a disastrous season. Don't know how many times they'll be favored even the rest of the year. 3-4 weeks from now, you got a chance to acquire Trey Hendrickson. Would you do it? Would you rent him? Let's just say you're not going to pay him the big bucks to stay. Would you give up a day 2 draft pick to rent Trey Hendrickson?
I would. I absolutely would. Because, again, last week was a perfect example of what you got to have, which is what they don't have, which is a pass rush. They got to have it. And other teams have it. You've got to protect the quarterback. You got to get after the quarterback. This team is all in about winning this year. So, yes, I would go after anybody you think is going to make you better in the trenches in particular. I would go after Trey Hendrickson. I'd make any kind of a deal you can figure out. You don't need that second-round draft pick next year. You'd love to have it, but you know what? You've got a chance to go deep in this season as long as everybody gets back healthy and gives you a good game. So, this is a year when I'm considering allowing that, yeah.
Mark, it would be very much the Rams acquiring Von Miller, okay? And who else, the other defensive lineman that they acquired in the year they went all in and they won the Super Bowl? I've just thrown that out there. 3-4 weeks from now, something to consider.
You're on the money this time. I think I agree with you 100%.
All right. Baker Mayfield limited in practice or didn't practice yesterday, knee and bicep. Look, we all know Baker's playing on Sunday. It's not my worry. But trying to change the way a player plays is difficult. Baker, through 4 games, is getting hit a lot, and some of it's by his own doing, whether he's throwing a block, whether he's lowering his shoulder to try to get another yard or 2 when he scrambles out of the pocket. I don't know if he can change, but Roy, you and I are probably the 2 biggest advocates for Baker Mayfield on the planet. He has to stay healthy. He's got to figure out a way to slide more, get out of bounds, whatever the case may be, because if he keeps getting hit like this, he's not going to make it for all 17 games.
Yeah, and I think that message has been delivered. I really do. I'll be surprised if it hasn't. I mean, all you have to do is go into the quarterback room, show him the injury report, which is just, audacious, and say, look, Baker, you can't be on this, all right? If we're to win, with this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy out, you've got to be a little bit smarter. An extra yard or two when you've already gained 12 and the first down is 4 yards behind you doesn't matter. Don't take the hit. Slide. Throw the ball away. Wait for another play. Wait for a better play. We're a good team overall. We don't need you to carry us all the time. When we do need you to carry us, that's when we need you to be healthy. And if you're not available for that, that's where you hurt us. So don't hurt us by, forcing an extra yard, forcing something that isn't there. I think that makes all kinds of sense. I think that message has been delivered. And if it hasn't been already, it certainly will be, because you don't want to coach that out of him, but he's got to tone it down. He plays at 12. Okay? He can dial it back down to 9.
All right. They went 3-1 in the first quarter. I know they have 17 games now, but if we're going 4-by-4, at Seattle, home for the Niners. Niners will have 10 days to prepare because they're playing tonight. At Detroit, at New Orleans. So 3 of the next 4 on the road. If I give you 2-2, would you take it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All winnable games, all beatable teams. Buccaneers probably better than every one of them, in my opinion.
Whoa. They're not better than the Lions. Come on now.
I don't like the Lions right now.
What part,
I don't know. Something's
what part
wrong
of the 3-game
there.
winning streak don't you like?
I don't like the way they're playing. I understand they're winning. I don't think they're that good. I think the Bucs can beat them. And so, yeah, to answer your question, yes. Take 2-2 for sure.
All right. I know you have a little affinity for the Tigers because you worked for them when you were a kid. Who wins today? Tigers, Cubs, Yankees, Red Sox. Who do you like in the game 3s?
Go with my heart, guys. Tigers and Cubs. Because wouldn't it be great to see a Tigers-Cubs World Series?
Oh, man. Don't tease me with that.
1945 revisited.
Oh, and should have been 84. Yeah.
Yeah, should have been, for sure. Ground ball through Bull Durham's legs.
Oh. He's Roy Cummings, R. Cummings FHCN. So you can follow him on X, Bay News 9 in Tampa, St. Pete, Miller and Moulton every Thursdays. Roy, have a good day, and good luck to your Cubs.
Go Cubs, go Tigers.
Roy Cummings, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Listen, I love Roy. What's his thing with the Lions?
He hasn't been watching. He must have watched the Green Bay game and not seen. I mean, they went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. They destroyed Cleveland. I don't get it. So,
yeah. Right now, I mean, come on, Tampa at Detroit. Who would take Tampa?
Detroit will be at least a 3-point favorite in that game at home.
Heck, at Detroit, I'll bet there's 6. It's a Monday night, by the way. Looking forward to it.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or NolanAgency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know who's got a really tough schedule? Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw they didn't want to see who they played next with Petrino's first game. It's like, well, I'll pause on that. That's a difficult schedule.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, they were set up to fail.
Yeah, it was set up to be Sam Pittman's last year.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Jeff Cameron, as we start to dive into the Canes and the Knowles Saturday night in Tallahassee. JP Shadrick at the top of the hour to talk the JAGS, the 3-1 Jags. Home dogs to the Chiefs, as you would expect. Number, by the way, is 3.5. Football tonight, number is 8.5. The Rams hosting the Niners. Both teams 3-1, but San Francisco, no Purdy, no wide receivers, Pearsall and Jennings. Oh, yeah, Ayuk's still out. Oh, yeah, Kittle's still out. Oh, yeah, Bosa's out for the rest of the year. We'll see if they can get it done on a short week. Mac Jones getting his third start of the year.
You know, we've talked a little Knowles and Canes. We've really neglected to talk the Gators much, if at all, this week. They have Texas.
Yes, they do.
They're a 6.5-point home dog against Arch and the Longhorns. Arch, who has not looked good as the preseason Heisman favorite.
Bigger disappointment so far this season. Arch Manning, DJ Lagway. How about that whole question?
Great question. That is a great question.
It's early. We're only 4 games into this sucker. Still got a lot of games left to play. We've seen guys week 1 and 2 be shaky, and then end of last month, they looked, pretty good. Okay, so, it can change in a hurry with young, inexperienced quarterbacks, but don't you want to see that? No matter if you don't have a dog in that fight, Mark, don't you want to see the quarterbacks play well and the offenses play well and be like, well, okay, this was a game worth watching. This was fun. Because right now, with the way the teams are playing offensively, Mark, and the way each defense is playing, this game looks like a bit of a slog.
It definitely looks like a slog. And I will say, and Florida's defense has played well all year. I mean, look at Miami ended up getting some late points, one of them because of a Florida going for a 4th down deep in their own territory and giving Miami a short field. They played terrific against LSU, but it turns out this LSU offense looks horrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
surprisingly.
They couldn't score against Ole Miss. They couldn't move the ball against Ole Miss. So I don't know what to make of. I know the Florida defense is good. I do. But how much longer can it continue to play at the level it is when the offense is doing nothing to help it? How much is the bye week going to help the Gators to get right? Is DJ 100% or has he been playing hobbled all year long?
I don't think he's 100%, but it doesn't matter at this point. I'm sorry. Figure it out. You guys got to play better. All right, here's the one thing I do feel comfortable in this game. I do think Texas has a big edge in coaching. And yes, I am picking on Napier when he's down. Sorry, who would you want calling the plays Saturday, Sark or Napier? And I wonder how much that's going to play into it. Mark, I think this is the regime. We said the Dolphins regime was on the line Monday night at home against the Jets. I believe this is the regime for Billy. He's had 2 weeks to get ready for Texas, to lick their wounds, to figure whatever it is they need to figure out. The freshman phenom receiver is healthy enough to play. Even Napier said, quote, having him is a, quote, big deal, unquote. Okay, well then we got to see some points this week. And you got to figure you got to get 24, 27 on the board, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think it's the regime. Because they lose this, you're 1-4. They ain't going to College Station and winning if they lose Saturday. I'll tell you that right now. And then you're 1-5. And then, well, you've already made your plans. Because you can't even assume the Mississippi State game's a win anymore. Hell, Mississippi State nearly beat Tennessee last Saturday.
And David, we all know this, but playing in the Swamp is one of the great home field advantages in all of college football.
Yes.
Here's the problem. If the first quarter doesn't go well for the Gators,
right,
they're going to turn on them.
Oh, yeah.
They're so angry right now.
Yep.
There isn't one Gator fan out there that's even neutral. They're pissed.
Uh-huh.
They want change. They're going to let Strickland know they want change if things don't go well early.
Yep.
Even in a tight game. You know, I made the comment, and the Dolphins delivered, by the way. You know, Jets won the toss, deferred. Now, Miami only got 3, but they went and put a drive together. And fortunately for Miami, they were able to force a turnover deep in their own territory and then put another drive together. Well, the fans aren't yelling and screaming. They hadn't had a turnover all year long. They got one. And they put a couple of points up early. And it changes the atmosphere. Well, Florida Gator offense, you know, if you're if you're Florida, you want to win that toss, put your defense out there, take on Arch right away. But if it goes the other way, that Gator crowd's going to turn on them.
And it's a bad matchup on paper right now. Texas defensively, overall yards per game, 4th in the country. They're giving up 60 yards rushing a game. They're giving up 8 points a game. This is what Florida's going up against. By the way, the difference, Mark, if you go by yards, Texas offensively averages 110 more yards a game than the Gators do.
The Gators are 115th in total yards per game, a little less than 330. They're 123rd on converting third downs. The Texas defense, they're 6th in the nation in the third down conversion rate. So to David's point, the matchup does not look good for the Florida offense. Billy Napier, who we've questioned for a year and a half, should he be calling the plays, is still calling the plays. And so far, it's not gone well for the guy that's back to being called Sunbelt Billy. The end of last year, and the little run is over.
So don't you think the Gators players feel the desperation? Remember, they all like their coach. They all went there in part because of him. You know, they dug last season out. Remember, they were 4-4 and ran the table. They're thinking, we beat Texas, here we go. Yeah, we have 3 losses. You know how many in the SEC? Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's all in front of the Gators. I mean, they can change everything. Every narrative can be changed on Saturday. If it's not, David's right. We had a poll question up early in the year. Who was going to get fired first, Napier or McDaniel? Well, McDaniel saved it on Monday night against the Jets. Napier's career in Florida is on the line Saturday against the Longhorns.
I really believe it is. I don't think he makes the cocktail party if they lose.
Because as you said, they go to A&M the following week. But the big game in the state of Florida, it's the game we all remember. It's the Knowles and the Canes. Jeff Cameron will discuss it with us next.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
What's happening, fellas?
I guess the answer to that text is yes.
Oh, I didn't see. Oh, here we are. Yeah.
Look at you getting ready for hockey season with that Lightning shirt on.
Lifelong. I grew up down there, and so it's funny. I was in St. Pete when they actually built the Tropicana Dome, which used to be called something, the Thunderdome. They had at one time called it, and Ferg's across the street. The bar that's
yeah.
That was my high school gym teacher. Like that guy, Mark Ferguson. That's him. When they built that, they were hoping to get baseball. They almost had the Giants and the White Sox, you guys remember?
Yep.
And so then when hockey was a temporary reprieve there, they had the Florida Fairgrounds and they had there. I think, David, you guys both are hockey guys. You'll remember, didn't the Lightning and the Philadelphia Flyers set a record for attendance?
Oh, yeah. I think it still is the record.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Anyhow, so my stepdad's an attorney down there. He's a season ticket holder. We're huge Lightning people. So, yeah.
I worked in hockey most of my life before doing this in minor pro hockey. I actually worked for Tampa's #1 affiliate in Atlanta at the time.
Oh, wow.
A lot of those, Brett Gretzky and I were great friends. And my favorite, Brent was my favorite when he was on the road. Brent used to, because they had roommates. And, Brent did well on the road. And there would be a lot of nights there'd be a knock at my door. And it would be Brent with his key going, "You're staying with Stan tonight." And Stan Drulia, who went back and forth between the Lightning and Atlanta, I'd walk in and Drew would say, "Hey, Millsy, how you doing? Let's watch some TV."
That is fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. Did you do play-by-play?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's very good.
I believe it.
I believe very good.
I believe it. Yeah, I'm ready for hockey. Good buddy of mine works in the front office there. Adam Laws is his name. He's a great guy. He works in hospitality, so I always call him for the bigger games, and he's like, "I got you. That's
a good friend to have right there.
That's a good friend. That's
a good friend to have right there. That atmosphere is second to none for hockey. I mean, that is a great. I don't think people around the country have a clue how good and how good of fans, like smart hockey fans, they get it.
Ownership invested in the community. MLA became a place that CNBC.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. JP Shadrick, part of the Jags Radio Network. We'll talk about their 3-1 start and look ahead to Monday Night Football and the Chiefs coming up at the top of the hour. But Jeff Cameron, kind enough to join us once again, host of the Jeff Cameron Show, warchant.com. Follow him on X, the letter J, Cameron Show, J Cameron Show. Jeff, David, and Mark, thanks for doing this. How are you?
I'm great. It's Florida State-Miami week and one of the great rivalries in college football. Even though it had some of its luster stolen by Florida State's road loss, I will say I been covering this game for over 25 years. I've been going to this game for 40 years. So it's one of the great rivalries in the sport.
Okay, can we go back to Charlottesville before we go forward?
Let's do it.
What the heck happened?
It's funny. I think it is disastrous first quarter happened. If you look at yards per play and all the metrics that you want to look at, Florida State should have won that game. And I don't say that, representing a Florida State fan whose feelings are hurt. Virginia came to play, wanted to play, played with great energy, played really physical, got the running game going. But those opening drives, you get the derailed offensive series for Florida State early with the offensive PI. And then, of course, the interception down at the 5-yard line. It's a great play. Virginia brings pressure. Tip pass ends up being an interception. Florida State's down 14-0. From that point forward, it's Florida State kind of controlling the action. They score the next 21 points. I really think on the Jerry Wilson tip pass that goes to Harris, if that's picked off, I think Florida State goes and wins the game. It's not picked off, and these games aren't played on paper, and kids do show up, and there is emotion, and they are subject to those whims of emotion. And I thought Virginia fueled that energy and really carried the day for a lot of that third quarter, and then it comes down to a few plays in the fourth and overtime. So that's what's going to happen when you're not an elite team. Florida State's not an elite team. You're going to play some tough games on the road. You look around college football right now, it feels like there might be only a couple of elite teams, if any. So you got to be willing to, deal with those losses, learn from them, and move forward and provide one of those for somebody else when they come on the road.
Well, Miami very well could be one of those elite teams.
Yep.
And they're very good at the line of scrimmage, and they can run the football. So, Jeff, answer me this. What run defense is Florida State really? The one that was excellent against Alabama at the line of scrimmage, or the one that struggled a little more against Virginia?
That's the question that's been asked all week long. I mean, that's really because you can't decisively say that I went back and rewatched the Alabama game in preparation for this Miami game. And obviously, I've seen the Virginia game twice. I think that there is a fundamental difference in the way that Alabama attacked, which is similar to the way that Miami wants to attack. Miami runs a lot of double teams inside with duo. They run the ball down the hill. They want to beat you up. I actually kind of think Florida State might be better prepared for that in the way that they were against Alabama. We'll see. Obviously, that's just a theory until you get out there and play. But they don't have to worry about where the quarterback's going to be in this game. And they very much had to worry about where the quarterback was going to be in the Virginia game. He was a great runner, a willing runner, and a very, very veteran presence. So I think there was some apprehension on the part of Tony White, his defensive plan, and the coordinator that is, and his defensive plan. I don't think there will be apprehension here because that the quarterback's not going to tuck it and keep and go. He's handing the ball off. You know who's getting the ball. So there is a little bit of difference in the approach to playing defense in this game against Miami. It could just be that Miami's physically dominant and it won't matter, or Florida State will hit the way that they did against Alabama. An area of the game will be neutralized, and now it's game on.
This is probably the best defensive front that Florida State's going to play against all year. Florida's strength is running the ball. They are top 10 in the country. Statistically, they're second, but they had a couple cupcakes. But I think Florida State is a very good to elite running team. Mm-hmm. Miami, I think, is an elite up front defensive team. They're top 10 in rushing yards allowed. Can Florida State win this game if they only rush for like 175 yards? Because, Jeff, even in their two big games, Virginia and Alabama, they've averaged about 250, 260. I mean, don't you think they have to crack 200 yards to have a shot?
Yeah, and I think they're going to have to do it with tempo to neutralize some of the physical dominance that Miami has up front. That's the whole reason you bring in a Gus Malzahn, and the reason that he has success rushing the football, even in years in which his teams haven't been very good, because he gets teams on their heels. They're unable to substitute personnel in, and he wins first down and then goes fast. And now all of a sudden you have an opportunity to get guys misaligned. Look, I think he knows his tackles, and Florida State's tackles have been good, but Bain and Mesidor are two different animals. And I think he recognizes you don't want a bunch of one-on-ones in that situation. You want to be able to get out and go and have the threat of the quarterback legs. You're going to read those ends. You're going to read those ends so that you don't have to block those ends. And that's part of what I think he'll try to do. And then he runs all those games off of that. That's how they were able to hit the passing game against Alabama. Once Alabama was on its heels having to deal with the run, then you had all the fakes and the quick passes and the stuff like that got Alabama out of sorts. And then they were off and running. That's always the danger with a Gus Malzahn offense. If you neutralize the quarterback's legs, you can dominate the football game. However, if you don't, it can avalanche on you in a hurry.
All right. Just how fast do they want to go? And my answer, the reason I ask that is that the other side of the ball where Miami wants to pound it and really take advantage, if they think they can take advantage of Florida State's defensive front and pound them, you want to keep that offense off the field. So how fast do the Seminoles want to go?
Now you hit the nail on the head, Mark. That's the whole thing. Miami's going to want to be methodical. They're going to want to run the ball physically and wear you down. Florida State has to hope that Kevin Wynn's presence back in the lineup. He has not yet played a game this year. He's the true freshman, 335 pounds. They say he's Herculean strong. So even at 20 to 25 reps, could make a difference in there to help Darrell Jackson out. We'll see. But you've got to get off the field on third down. Florida State didn't get off the field on third down against Virginia, and those time of possessions in the second half featured a 12-play drive with 11 runs, which will hurt your feelings, followed by a 16-play drive. That, too, will hurt your feelings. So that can't happen or Florida State gets blown out. I think Florida State, conversely, on the offensive side, if they get stops, Mark, they want to run 75 to 80 plays easily. Virginia ran 84 plays on this Florida State defense before the overtime. That's a problem. They shouldn't have to worry about that against Miami. But I think you're going to want to take risks if you're Tony White here, if you get Miami behind the chains. And you may get burned by some of that. But I really trust Jerry Wilson and Jabril Rawls, the corners for Florida State, who have played very well this year against Miami's receivers. So I'm going to run stunts in games to get after the passer, because I can't let Carson Beck sit back there on his spot on 3rd and 5 and wait for something to come open, because he's going to hit it. So now you got to bring pressure, which could lead to big plays both ways. And now all of a sudden we're looking at a high-scoring game. It's a lot of ways to paint the picture of this game, and it's fun. It's fascinating, because I can make strong arguments that Miami beats Florida State soundly. I can make some arguments that Florida State gets on a roll and Miami's first road game of the year, and all of a sudden we're recognizing a very different-looking Miami team. It's a fun game.
Jeff Cameron, host of the Jeff Cameron Show, warchant.com. Follow him on X, the letter J, Cameron Show, J, Cameron Show. Can Florida State get pressure on Carson Beck? I mean, that's a very good offensive line. They wear you down running the ball. They use play action. I mean, they don't get themselves in 3rd and distance a lot. Do you think Florida State can get after him?
Not with just a basic pass rush. David, the way they got after Simpson, and he did a good job of eluding the rush, but he was always running around. If you go back to that Alabama game, Ty Simpson didn't get to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. He had to move. Well, they were doing that because they stopped the run, and then they knew what was coming, and they brought pressure from all over the place. They didn't rely on their ends, because their ends aren't anything special. What they did was they obviously ran stunts, they looped, and then they brought pressure from the secondary as well. I think that's how you're going to have to manufacture pressure, because I do think Miami's offensive line is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, getting some pressure up the middle would be great, to what you talked about, to get back off of his spot. You mentioned this Florida State corners. That's the part of the game I'm fascinated with, because everybody coming into the season, well, Miami lost all their receivers. Joe Zagacki was on our show before the Notre Dame game, and he's like, yeah, they lost all the receivers. How many of those guys are playing on Sunday? None. And the transfer portal has been good to the Canes at the wide receiver position. I think that's one of the matchups we're not talking enough about.
Love the matchup. It is the matchup that I kind of led with on Monday on my show, was that I think that you're going to have to put a lot of faith, and the two guys I just mentioned specifically, Rawls and Wilson, are both good players, both really athletic guys that can flip their hips and run with the speed of Miami. And, frankly, I think that that's where you take your chances and leave those guys on islands. I would do it, because I've got to get the other numbers for the pressure game. So you're right. And then if you're doing that, obviously, Keelan Marion and Malachi Toney and those guys, then it could be a problem. But I think I would take those chances.
I know you head out to practice and you get in the room. How do you think the Noles handled the setback Friday night? Because we know, if they had won, we all know, listen, it's going to be a great scene, everybody jacked up. But I mean, Jeff, a week plus ago, it was going to cost you $500 minimum to get in Doak. Yeah. You can get in Doak for a little less now. Game day was going to be there. It was going to be the old days. They're both in the top 10, blah, blah, blah. I'm just curious. How do you think the Noles have handled the defeat?
I think one of the things that makes this team likable for the fan base is that they're the antithesis of last year's team, which was soft and laid down the second they faced adversity. Even in the game the other night, you're down 14-0. I know it's Charlottesville. It's not like it's Death Valley, but that place was rocking, and they were into the game, and those players were feeling it. And if they were going to have the kind of character or lack thereof that last year's team did, you would have seen it manifest there. But they fought back and really had a chance to kind of cement that game once they got back up 21-14. I don't think they're the same MO. I think they're a team that's going to fight. I think they also know, that this is their season. Look, nothing is ruined here just yet. If Florida State knocks off Miami, their path to the ACC championship game is clearly defined. And Clemson, not being Clemson of old, certainly makes that path a little bit easier, at least in the eyes of certainly these players and fans. So I would say that they're going to show up. They'll play well. They'll be focused.
Take the quarterback out of the equation. Who's the X factor on offense for the Seminoles?
Deuce Robinson. Deuce Robinson is a matchup nightmare for anybody. He's 6'6", and he runs a 4.5, 4.4, 840, depending on who you believe. He's fast for his size, is the point. He's 225 pounds, high points it, and is physical. He just had his second coming out party. He's had 2 big games so far, but this one was on the road in Charlottesville. They couldn't cover him. Miami has better players at corner than Virginia does, but 6'6" is 6'6". So if they're not going to shade, this will be interesting. I really think that would be the kid that has a big day or has a chance to have a big day. Now, it's not like Miami doesn't know who he is. So if that's the case, they're going to need Squirrel White to step up. He's got elite speed. You remember the big sideline catch against Alabama that really opened things up in that game. We'll see. It just depends on how Miami wants to play it. But you're right. You say take the quarterback out. Really, this game revolves around the quarterback for Florida State. All of them will because of the offense that they run with his legs. But I get your point. I think it's got to be Deuce Robinson.
Quickly, let's just say Florida State holds Miami to kind of what Notre Dame and the Gators did. Miami scored, 26 against the Gators, 27 against Notre Dame. You think the Noles can get into the upper 20s against the Canes, or are they going to have to hold them lower than that?
David, if it's 13-7 in the second half, the way it was Florida and Miami is playing with their food, and Florida's driving with a chance to take the lead, if that scenario plays out, where we're looking at a 6-point game in the second half like that, Florida State will win the game. Florida State might win the game comfortably if that's the case. Miami's going to have to be better on offense than they've been so far. They totally shut down in the second half against Notre Dame as well. That was a weird game. They've yet to put together 4 quarters. They might, and they're really good. But if they're fooling around and it's a low-scoring game with this crowd, with this offense, I think Florida State will win the game.
We think it may have been a blessing in disguise, not losing, but not having game day. We talked a lot of Ryder Cup on this show and how embarrassed people were by the U.S. fans that it would have been the same. Florida State would have felt really good about yelling at Herb Street for 3 hours on Saturday, and I think they'd have been the butt of jokes by Monday. I actually think this works out in their favor.
It works out in both parties' favor. Herb Street was somewhere wrapped in a blanket, fearful they were going to make him come here. And so, he didn't want to do that, I'm sure. And then for Florida State fans, it only takes 1 or 2 crazies. And we all know that ruins everything. Yeah, I was embarrassed by what happened at the Ryder Cup. I hated seeing that. It was awful. And I certainly would have hated to see something similar happen in Tallahassee. Look, they have every right, the Florida State fans, to be very angry with ESPN and in Herb Street specifically. But that doesn't mean you can say and do anything you want. And I would have hated for something like that to manifest. You're right. It's probably best for both parties.
He'll be calling the game with Chris. Okay.
Yeah, they can swoop him in, David. And get him
I know. Hell,
you know how it works.
Oh, I definitely know how it works. Okay. I told them they may need a helicopter, but good luck.
Is he going to bring the dog? Does he get to have
I don't think he goes anywhere without the dog. Okay. He needs the photo op. Okay. He needs the sympathy.
Well,
all right.
Anxiety is a hell of a thing, David.
I know. We'll leave it there. Jeff Cameron, warchant.com. Follow him on X at the letter J Cameron Show, J Cameron Show. Jeff, go pet your dog. Thanks for your time. Miller and Moulton. JP Shadrick will join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline next. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, inside the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers, a classic sports bar with an outdoor deck. Then in October, we'll have all the playoff baseball. College football, they are home to the Ohio State fan club. NFL action, the start of both the NHL and NBA seasons. Never mind trivia, karaoke, bingo, all part of the entertainment package at Shoeless Joe's. Good food, good times, good sports. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies. For nearly 30 years is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Topo, how are you?
Greetings. How are we doing?
Good.
Well,
Does this
how
sound
about-
okay? I've got a new microphone.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
I'm tapping it. You hear that? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear it? Is this working? Yeah.
How about your weekend last weekend? Bama goes in between the hedges and wins, and the Jags go on the road and win?
Yeah, it's
How
pretty
about-
pretty good couple days. Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. I had both the Oregon Penn State game and the Bama Georgia game on at the same time. I have two TVs in the living room because I like to party. So I watched both, and then it was awesome. Both games are great. I mean, both games are just physical slobber knockers. I mean, the quarterback played pretty good for Bama. It was nice to see. And then the Jags went out and kind of out-physicaled the 49ers, which is pretty awesome. So, and then told them about it after.
Yeah.
The head coach told him about it after. Love it.
Keep my name out of your mouth.
I love that guy. I tell you what, man, in the offseason, I wasn't really one-on-one with him much, you know, just how it was going, and then once the season hits, we do a weekly interview on Fridays that runs on Sunday, and he's not doing a coach's radio show, but he's around more. So I've really grown to appreciate him. Like he does not sugarcoat anything, and he's a hyper competitive guy. Even though he may not first show it publicly, he's pretty. Once he gets going, that I think trickles down to the entire team. I think that they're going to take a lot from him.
Do you know what's funny is to see him now, as opposed to 8 months ago. I mean, that Duval that he did now seems like it was an out-of-body experience. Like he's never come across that way before.
Yeah. I think he was just nervous. I mean, it was a big moment for him, So, and there's been a lot building up to that. Like, is he coming? Is he not? Everybody was talking junk about him in Tampa. It's like, I think he was just the big moment. You get nervous for a second. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I know, but it's just like,
yeah.
Wow, that was not the real guy.
No, I think you're seeing the real guy. I think that was just a blip on the radar. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
It's like he realized he got the job, and he's like, "Well, hell, I can do whatever I want now."
No, he's been great, and I'm really excited to see how this goes, man, because they're playing great defense.
Yes, they are.
The quarterback's got to play better, though, overall. They don't have anything down the field yet this year, really long passing. They just haven't – either they've called some, or he's underthrown some, or he hasn't pulled the trigger on some, or he's misfired. So, like, there's a lot of that. That's the next step. So,
yeah, I wonder how much different things would have been. Who was the receiver who dropped the touchdown in the end zone against the Bengals?
De'Ami Brown.
It might have been the best pass he's thrown this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder, and then they would have won that game. And I just wonder. But
yeah, I mean, but now there's also week 1.
Yeah.
He's got Travis Hunter 5 yards behind J.C. Horn.
Yep.
And he throws it 5 yards under to J.C. Horn and makes a one-handed catch. It's like unbelievable. But he's
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
it is the bonus hour on this second day of October, but it is the first Thursday of the month. And it's time for JP Shadrick. Jaguars Radio Network, Westwood One Touchdown Radio Network. Follow him on X at JP Shadrick, Shadrick. Top of the morning to you.
yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Hi.
Your Crimson Tide go into Georgia and win.
Yeah.
The Jags go on the road and beat a previously undefeated team. These are. Do you know how to handle this?
It's been a minute, but we can get by. Yeah, we can carry the rock here for a little while with some wins. That's cool. High and tight, right? You just got to keep on winning though, too. You can't fumble the bag and lose it. So, no, it's from the Jaguars' perspective. Okay, this is when we looked at the schedule going into the season. You're like, oh boy, this first before the bye week. I mean, all these teams, a lot of these teams are playoff teams or playoff caliber teams from a year ago. And okay, can you get out 500? Can you? No, like this is a team that is proven that they can go punch with anybody. And I mean, we'll find out Monday night against the Chiefs, but they have the confidence to go in there and punch with anybody, including the Chiefs. So we'll see what comes out of it.
The Chiefs offense showed up for the first time. And I know everybody wants to see Travis Hunter get more balls on offense. To me, this is going to be a big Travis Hunter defensive game because they showed that they can, with Worthy back and Brown now, I think Kansas City showed they can be more explosive. I'm curious, as well as the defense played and how good they've been up front, I think the D-backs have to have a big game against Kansas City this week, JP.
I would agree. I think it's all hands on deck with what they have. And, obviously Kelsey's still there too. I'm not going to question Travis Kelce's ability anymore, but he can go prove that he can go beat you, but you can put 2 guys on him, right? You need to because he's burdened this team before. And then the speed guys, right? So I think it's everybody on deck. And this is secondary has been performing very well, not only in the coverage game and interceptions, yes, but when it comes down to run support and being physical and tackling, there's not many missed tackles back there. So catch and run, you haven't seen a whole lot of that. They've been able to wrap up and get multiple hats to the ball. They're not scared to put their head in there and go make a play. So that's really good for this defense. I was curious last week. I mean, maybe it's just the way that they felt San Francisco was going to play. I mean, Travis Hunter didn't play defense in the second half. He only had 9 defensive snaps all day. So I'm curious what that means moving ahead. Maybe we're overthinking it. Like we've talked about all offseason, this might be a week to week. Let's see how it is. What's the matchup, what we're doing. This could be one of those matchups, though. That defense sounds pretty good to me.
Why are they forcing turnovers at the rate that they are? Is it a little bit of luck, that sometimes the ball, some years they bounce your way, other years they don't. How much of it are they forcing? I mean, JP, they had the ability to rush the passer last year, and that usually leads to turnovers, and yet it didn't. Why do you think that they're forcing, or what is it that they are saying as to why it is they're forcing on average of 3+ turnovers a game?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, the franchise record for a season is 33. By the way, so we're closing in. It's 4 weeks in, so they're on an epic pace that just is going to be really hard to keep up. Pressure's one thing. They're getting close. They're getting outside pass rush from Trayvon Walker. We'll see about his wrist this week, by the way. The extra day of rest might help, but who knows with that moving ahead. So keep an eye on that this week. And then Josh Hines-Allen is getting pressures, just can't get to the quarterback yet. I mean, he's got, you got to get those sacks to really impact that. You're getting a little push from the inside. Mason Smith's getting a little better. Eric Armstead's had moments. So that interior push helps the outside push. They just haven't been able to collectively get the whole bunch of sacks. But that pressure causes quick passes, errant throws, tip balls, and that's what they've done on the back end. They're also punching at every football known to man. Anybody holding a football is going to get punched. So, be ready. That's what they've done. They practice it all off season. They practice it every week, and they go out and do it. So that's not going to stop. They're going to keep just trying to force the issue on defense. Another part of this, Dave and Mark, is they've led in pretty much every football game. They've only trailed for 9 minutes and 10 seconds this season. So when you're leading a game, especially in the second half, certainly in the fourth quarter, you have the advantage. That team's going to have to throw, and that pass rush is going to be able to get there. And then the weird throws happen, or swat a sack out of Purdy's hands last week on the last drive. That happens when you have leads, and that's something that has not happened a lot. They've led throughout for the most part of this season, and that changes the whole dynamic of how games are called later.
Well, speaking of weird throws, JP, Trevor seems to have a weird throw or two every game, and now you go up against Spags' defense, which is troubling. They do a great job of confusing teams and confusing quarterbacks. When you look at this game with Trevor, what do you see?
I see well, let's start with Trevor. This season, he's been really good in understanding the offense and getting people in the right spot. Now, they might go right up to the end of the play clock doing it because the play's in late. The operation has been slow sometimes. That part of it, I think everybody's really happy with. Okay, he's calling – the right plays are being called. He's audibling out of the right plays into others. The execution, though, just hasn't been there at times. Throws down the field, nothing deep happening, right? This week, you better have your head on a swivel because the pressure can come at any moment. It can come all game. It can come from exotic areas. And this is the biggest challenge Trevor is going to have, in the last couple of years, I think, honestly, against this group, because you never know where it's coming from. You got to stay ahead of the change. You can't have that, 2-yard first down. Oh, holding on second and long. Let's move it back because all of a sudden you're long distances, and here comes the pass rush and Chris Jones and Karlaftis and a blitz and all these things. You got to stay on time and on schedule this week. And control the game and stay on the field too. If they can have some sustained drives, that'd be nice to keep Mahomes over there on the sideline.
Brian Thomas got his mojo back?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's been solid the last week or two. I mean, getting better, There was one catch last week. You got to drag that second foot, and it would have been another catch for him. No drops that I remember last week. And you know what? And he's engaged. He's in there and blocking down the field. So that means he's not losing his head. That means he's still in the game plan, which is good to see.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. A couple of the catches against San Francisco, he looked to me like like the movie The Program with the kid holding on the ball. He's tackled, he's still on the ground. No, I'm not letting go of the damn ball.
Yeah, and he's been a double catcher a lot in his career too, by the way. It's not like he's, over his career, it's kind of double clutch sometimes, but let's just keep playing. They're believing him. They're going to keep throwing him the football.
All right. The Chiefs with Mahomes, with the receivers, these are problems. And you talked about the pass rush. You can't let him run around. I mean, you talked about the push from the middle, but you also mentioned that the ends. It's really containing Mahomes, isn't it?
He's going to extend as much as he can. And then speaking of weird throws, he can throw from every angle. He can throw left-handed if you want him to, which that would be great if we could do that all game. Just like make him throw left-handed. But that's a problem. So you've got the coverage down the field has to be aware of it. The people who are chasing him have to be aware of it. And I think you got to hit him. You just got to hit him. I'm not saying illegally, but I think you got to go be physical with him and make a point early in the game that, hey, if you're going to run around and do this, you're going to get hit. And so what? Be ready for it. I think that's the kind of football game that the Jaguars want to play now. This is not your 7-on-7 patty cake flag football Jaguars anymore. And I think they want to prove that early in this game, especially on the defensive side.
2 years ago, the Jags had it going on. Joe and Troy come to town. They lose, and it really starts a 1.5-year slide.
It was Jake Browning, man. What the heck?
I know, and he looked like Joe Burrow in tearing the Jags up and winning in overtime.
He's going to go in the Ring of Honor because of 2 games against the Jags in Cincinnati.
And what I'm wondering, though, is now here are the Jags who don't get a lot of prime times, okay? And now they're getting another one, and they're at home, okay? Is this something that this group of guys is looking forward to? Because they screwed it up 2 years ago, and they've had to work really hard to get above water since. I'm just curious, does the primetime exposure mean something to this group to kind of show everybody, hey, we're damn good?
I think they're ready for that. We haven't been in the locker room yet this week because everything's pushed back a day. So we'll really find out starting today when we get in there and get to talk to some of the guys who've been around here for multiple regimes, and get some reasoning behind that and what they're feeling going in. But I just have this different feel of confidence here, and there's been confidence at moments before, but it's been a while since it's been this early in the season and things are going well. But they also know that this is a challenge. This is not, this is the Kansas City Chiefs. They've gone to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. This is the biggest challenge you can have. But it's also the biggest reason you have NFL football in Jacksonville too, by the way. So this place needs to be packed. Should be packed. There's nothing more. You want playoff games and all that. This is as big as it gets in the regular season for the Jaguars in a long time. So I think they're going to have full support here. I think they're going to have everything they need to help them be in this game and win this game in the fourth quarter and go do it. I don't think they're intimidated. I think they're aware of what the Chiefs are, but I think they're ready to rise to the challenge and at least be in the mix in this game, certainly.
JP Shadrick, Jags Radio Network, Touchdown Radio Network, Westwood One Radio Network. Follow him on X at JP Shadrick, SHADRICK.
This is not your older brother's Jaguars. This is a new Jaguars team, Dave.
Well, you know what? They've impacted you already. This is the most upbeat you've been this early in the season since we've been talking, and we've been talking for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, that long.
I know.
I've had a full head of hair before that somehow.
Well, let's not say, I don't
now.
know about full. I mean, just take it easy now.
High and tight always.
Yeah.
Right. JP Shadrick joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Jags Monday night hosting the Chiefs in Saxonville. No, that was a different regime.
Oh, boy.
Home game for Dave this week.
Yes. Of course, I have to go to Los Angeles first, but yep, it'll be nice. Hotels in Amelia Island, really close. Yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Thank you, baby Jules. Yeah, JP's for what it's worth, like Jeff Cameron. Obviously, he works for warchant.com. Does he want the Knolls to win? Of course. But I think Jeff gives it to us straight. JP, works for the Jags. Of course, he'd prefer they win. But JP gives it to us straight. There's room for homers, but we kind of like it when we can get fairly straight shooters. For you guys, we think you deserve that.
Wow.
What?
I actually know very briefly the Notre Dame hockey coach. He's leaving after 32 years to take a job in pro hockey. Super guy. Just a great guy.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. Some final thoughts, couple of picks, maybe even more than that. We got 3 deciding baseball games and a Thursday night football game. And we're not talking about Sam Houston at New Mexico State, if you know what I mean. Here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Like to thank Roy Cummings, Jeff Cameron, JP Shadrick for joining us so far on the show. If you missed their interviews, you can go to millerandmoulton.com, download what you missed. And Roy, Jeff, and JP and all our guests join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, the one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
But if you were going to bet the Bearcats at the Aggies tonight, Bearcats laying 1.5 on the road, how would you pick this one?
Oh, it means the money's coming in on the Aggies because it was 2.5 last night. So, of course, I'm sure there's an awful lot of money coming in on this game, right? Yeah. I would take the home team.
I would love to be able to find out what the handle is on a game like this. And now with all the states, I don't even know if you could get an accurate handle. I mean, Vegas was usually pretty good about, you know, you could get information out of Vegas a little bit better. But now with all the states that have legalized gambling, all the different sources and ways you can bet everywhere but the state of Florida. Yeah, well, I would just be interested to see on a Thursday night game with 2 Conference USA teams, how many degenerates there are out there.
I would take the home team, by the way. You know, conference rivals, short week. Sam Houston having to go on the road. I would take the Aggies and the 1.5 at home, Mark.
Yeah, Sam Houston doesn't travel well, David. They really don't. So away from home, it's a free pick by Moulton. They're usually pretty good on Thursdays. So
no doubt.
No doubt.
No, the free picks have been money. I mean, you know, I like the Padres yesterday, like the Guardians yesterday, like the Yankees yesterday. Okay. Oh, no, the free stuff. Oh, money. Yeah. No, tomorrow and make the official picks. Oh, for goodness sake, just go the other way.
It's October, so you have to wonder with David Moulton how you do this. We've talked about it. It is well documented. September has never gone well for my co-host in picking against the number. The rest of the year, sometimes it's gone really well. Sometimes it's been average.
Yeah, I'm broken.
But it's been a rough start. And the good news is he doesn't back off. For those of you that follow me on various social media pages, my daughter has jumped into the fray picking games. She was worse than Moulton last week. She went over.
Somebody said to me, because I've seen like the two of you in the beginning of your segment, but I have not watched a segment. And she's going with helmets, right?
Colors. The colors of the teams.
Okay,
she made no mascots this week. We haven't decided yet.
Somebody said to me she needs to go helmets.
But she did. My son thought it was hysterical. He had sent me a text because after I picked Oregon and she picked Penn State, my wife's a Pennsylvania native, and she liked the navy blue and in the mom's home state. I got a side eye when I went against her. I got a look and a side eye, which was my son thought was fantastic. But we'll do it again probably Saturday morning. She's already ready. She's I put it up on X. I actually have a TikTok account. I think that was the first TikTok video that I posted. Maybe the second, but I think the first one in several years, to say the least. So we'll get it out there at some point on Saturday. I liked the Padres in the series, and I was rooting for the Cubs. I liked the Yankees, and I liked the Guardians. So I'm not changing the way I think when it comes to baseball. I think the Padres are going to get it done today. I do. I like their bats better, although we talked about it earlier. The time of the day for this game is a huge advantage for the pitchers on both sides. Lots of shadows at Wrigley.
Yu Darvish against Jameson Taillon. Darvish missed the first 3+ months of the season and then got off to a horrible start. Had an ERA of around 9, has actually pitched decently for about 6 weeks now. But he's only made 15 starts on the year. He's only got one appearance mark in which he's gone more than 6, and most of his appearances don't even make it through the 6th or to the 6th. So I'll be curious how long the leash is. I will say they used Mason Miller in both of the first 2 games, and they used the closer for 4 outs yesterday. So I'll be curious whether or not he thinks he has length from his 2 guys at the back end of the bullpen, which may be the best back end of any bullpen in baseball. So Suarez and Mason Miller there. I mean, the Padres are playing 6-inning games. This is the Yankees of 96 with Mariano Rivera and Wetland. They are playing 6-inning games. But maybe today they have to play a 7-inning game, if you know what I mean.
Detroit, who's not scored runs for a month, can they get some early? Because the Cleveland bullpen is better than the Detroit bullpen. Flat out. It just is. But Cleveland struggles to score runs. They were able to get a bunch late yesterday and get to the Detroit bullpen in the latter part of the game and blow it open. We talked about this after the Sox won game 1. Would Chapman be available for game 2? Well, he didn't play. So Chapman has a day's rest. How many outs can he get the Sox if need be? Because I think you have to give the edge right now to the Red Sox bullpen over the Yankee bullpen, David.
Agreed. How big also, first game of the day is Tigers Guardians. Mark, coming off of Detroit's offensive struggles down the stretch, and obviously yesterday leaving 15 men on base, how much do the Tigers need a hit when the first or second time they get a runner in scoring position today?
I think everything for the Tigers, and it's not getting a run early. It's getting a crooked number early. If they could somehow put 2 up in the first or second inning, it would be huge. Torkelson has not done well in big spots. Riley Green's finally hitting the ball a little bit better. He's really struggled. They'll need him today. So we'll see, but I didn't like their chances going into the series. I thought it would go 3 and Cleveland would win. There's nothing that I've seen that makes me think any differently right now.
Wonder, by the way, could this be the last appearance of Yu Darvish's career? He's 39. I mean, that's the 2 starting pitchers. For as much as the Guardians-Tigers series is a bunch of young arms being sent out there, unless the Tigers decide they're going to throw Flaherty, which I don't
believe
think
they are. I thought they were.
But, I mean, the Guardians, by the way, the Guardians have their whole starting rotation locked up for the rest of the decade. That's how young those guys are. They can't leave until the 2030s. But the 2 starting pitchers in the Padres-Cubs game, Mark, are 39 and 33. And Taillon turns 34 in like 6 weeks. I mean, these are 2 veterans in which, Jameson, I think, still has plenty, still has a couple years left based on how he's thrown. But this could be the last start of Yu Darvish's career if he loses it.
Flaherty is pitching for the Tigers today. It's imperative for him to get off to a good start. His record's not very good. His ERA's not very good. But he struggles early. If somehow he can get through the first couple of innings, then that may be advantage Tigers. If you're Cleveland, you've got to get to him early. And look at everybody has recently.
The Yankees decided to go with Schlittler in game 3. It was the choice between him or Luis Gil. And they went with Schlittler, who has been good start, bad start, good start, bad start in his last 4 outings. So interesting decision here. Yankees a solid favorite, though. And they have not beaten the Red Sox in a big game since Boone's been manager. Miller and Moulton, good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today's the day when coming up.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
You know, just a question for you, David. Since for the next 2 years, we're going to hear, or at least until they pick it, we're going to hear about Tiger Woods captaining the Ryder Cup team. Do you think there are 12 golfers that Tiger likes? Like, I mean, him, not to mention then putting 3 or 4 vice captains with him that he likes. And I'm being serious. He doesn't hang out with any of these guys.
He hangs a little with JT. I do think he's a different guy in the last 10 years. You know, once he's not been Tiger, really. I do think he has more contact with them because of this whole LIV PGA Tour thing. He's apparently very much involved in the future.
And I know the indoor thing too he's involved in. So
I'm wondering if it's not like it was when he was an active player.
Right. Maybe.
I'm with you about the whole vice captain thing, though. Because in
Freddie,
theory, well, there's no doubt about that.
Freddie
should have been a Ryder Cup captain. I mean, that's the fact that Larry Nelson was never a captain, Freddie never a captain, it's a joke. I mean, well, are you talking about won it on the road? Yeah, 93. Yeah, he was on the team. Payne died in October of 99. Last week of October. It's my last week in Fargo. Good friend and college teammate of his. Lived and worked in the area. His former mid-amateur champion, Mike Podolak. Remember having to go talk to Podolak the day of the crash. Yeah, Robes. Remember they thought they were going to shoot it down over Fargo, but it ran out of gas.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour till we're done. We're out of here for the day. We've got Lee Sterling tomorrow. We've got Pat Kerwin tomorrow. We'll have a Canes guest tomorrow on a football Friday.
It is the bonus hour. Probably should hit the button that turns my microphone on. Brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, proud sponsor of Miller and Moulton.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1920. When the Cincinnati Reds and Pittsburgh Pirates played the first and only triple header in the 20th century. The Reds would win the first two games 13-4 and 7-3. The Pirates avoid the sweep, winning 6-0 in the finale. Today in 1947, Yogi Berra hits the first pinch hit home run in World Series history. Brooklyn would win the game, however, 9-8. Today in 49, for the first time in 41 years, pennant races are both decided on the final day. The Yankees beat the Red Sox, and the Dodgers beat the Phillies. Today in 1950, Charles Schulz published Lil Folks. You'd later know it as Peanuts, the first time it appeared in nationwide papers. Alfred Hitchcock Presents premiered on CBS today in 55. The Twilight Zone premiered today in 59. Today, in a game at the University of Florida between the Gators and LSU, Gator players for the first time had a new drink. You all know it as Gatorade. 1967, a bad day for the Grateful Dead as they were all arrested by narcotics agents for possession of marijuana. '69, the last Seattle Pilots game in Seattle. They would lose their 98th of the season. They would move to Milwaukee and become the Brewers the next season. Soul Train made its debut today in 1971. Gladys Knight and the Pips were among the first guests. It stayed on the air for 35 years. Today in 78, we mentioned it earlier. Bucky Dent, 3-run shot. Yankees beat the Red Sox in game 163. 1980, sad day in boxing. Ali comes out of retirement to fight Larry Holmes.
Ugh.
He was pounded for 10 rounds before his corner throws in the towel.
Literally in the 8th round, Holmes is pounding him in a corner, stops, takes 2 steps back, looks at the ref like, come on, are you going to stop this already?
Today in 82, David, a little ditty about Jack and Diane.
Ah, 2 American kids.
Yeah.
Doing the best they can, Mark.
Hit number 1 in America, the only number 1 song for, at that time, John Cougar. He would change his name back to John Mellencamp.
Wasn't he also Cougar Mellencamp? Didn't he
Yes.
have 3 names?
Yes, John Cougar Mellencamp, John Mellencamp. Correct. Today in 84 rather, Papa John's Pizza is founded. 1991, Eric Lindros turns down a 10-year, $50 million offer from the Quebec Nordiques. Today in 94, Don Shula beats David Shula as the Dolphins beat the Bengals 23-7 in the only father-son meeting as coaches in NFL history. Alabama beats number 3 Florida 40-39 in overtime, snapping the Gators' 30-game home win streak today in 1999. Sean Alexander would have 4 touchdowns for the Crimson Tide.
And then I think they'd beat them again in the SEC title game.
Today in 01, Sosa becomes the first player with 60 home runs in 3 seasons. Wonder how he did it. Was it the juice or the corked bats? First NFL game outside of the U.S. was today in Mexico City. The Arizona Cardinals defeat San Francisco 31-14. The TV spy drama Homeland premiered on Showtime today in 2011. Claire Danes. 2016, we actually won a Ryder Cup at Hazeltine. Also,
and it was a rout too, wasn't it?
Yes, 17-11. Koepka, Snedeker, and Patrick Reed each won 3 matches. Vin Scully called his final game today in 2016. 67 seasons broadcasting baseball.
Wow, it's been 9 years. How about that?
And 8 years ago today, Tom Petty at 66 passed. Gandhi, Groucho Marx, and Steve Sable would have all celebrated birthdays today. If you were a fan of Rolling Stone magazine, you saw many pictures taken by Annie Leibovitz. She's 76 today. Sting, not the wrestler, the guy from the Police, you know, the musician. He's 74. Glenn Anderson from the Edmonton Oilers is 65. Mark Rippon is 63. Hockey player Phil Kessel is 38, and somewhere going to knock down 5 hot dogs today.
His middle name should be Sliders, shouldn't it? I mean, don't you think everywhere Phil goes, he orders 3 sliders?
Absolutely. And you know what? And give me some extra fries as well.
And yet he can still light the lamp, though. Don't kid yourself.
Oh, yeah. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is also 38 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Well, you know, since we date ourselves, today was the day Rock Hudson died, 40 years ago today. And Rock Hudson became a bigger deal when he was dying and when he died because, well, Rock Hudson put a popular face on AIDS. He came out about 2 months, late July of 85, and said, "Yeah, I have AIDS." And nobody was doing that. And then he died about 9 weeks later. And basically he's known more for that than his acting career.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Orlando for the good. I'm guessing some of you remember a great foul ball catch by a dad holding the kid.
Yeah.
I think this is better. A new mother just won a video game tournament in Orlando 5 days after giving birth. She won the tournament while holding the 5-day-old newborn. I'm impressed. For the bad, we go to Punta Gorda, where Robin Zick was arrested after she stole a motorized shopping cart from Publix and was driving it down the road. The woman came into the store, stole the cart, and took off down Tamiami Trail. When she was tracked down by deputies a mile away from the Publix, she said she had taken the cart to go to a medical appointment she planned on bringing it back to Publix. And finally, the ugly, we go to Winter Haven, where a retired Polk County deputy was arrested after insulting workers at a McDonald's drive-thru. Robert Gray was arrested a little over 5 in the evening. He had gone through the drive-thru lane twice. He was making rude comments to the workers at McDonald's. The car was littered with open beer cans. Oh, by the way, he had an 18-month-old boy in the car.
Oh, man.
The sheriff said, "So you have a child. You're in the McDonald's line. You're McDrunk, and you're saying really nasty, vile comments to the girls." That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, Thursday, October the 2nd, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. They're hiring. CapeCops.com for all the information. CapeCops.com.
I had someone just text me wanting to know what video game.
Mortal Kombat.
Okay. All right.
Mortal Kombat with a 5-day-old child, and she was whooping up on everybody.
Okay. Thursday Night Football, Amazon, 8:15 kickoff. By the way, do you watch any of their pregame or halftime?
No.
I know
don't.
you and
I usually forget the game with everything going on in my life.
Right.
And Thursday night is a soccer practice night for the daughter, and it ends at 8. So I usually get home right at kickoff.
Gotcha. I got to admit, I like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I do too. I have no problem with it. I don't watch much pregame, period.
No, I don't either. I hardly watch anybody's pre anymore, or even halftime. I mean, honestly, Inside the NBA is about the only show that I'll watch now, pre, half, or post. But I have caught Fitzy. I find him fun. He's obviously intelligent, went to an Ivy League school. But, I mean, when he wants to just play straight guy and talk football, I find him to be terrific. But he's obviously fun. I mean, he's like Jason Kelsey, for goodness sakes.
I did like an interview I caught with Fitzpatrick. I don't know if I watched it or read it, but he was talking about they don't put you at Harvard with athletes. You get roommates. And he talked about what his 3 roommates from his freshman year are doing in life and how essentially he's failed in comparison to the other 3.
And he had a 15-year career
Correct.
in
Correct.
the NFL, right? Rams are 8.5-point favorites over the Niners.
For
Niners
the
are
record, Moulton is teasing it down,
yep.
taking the Rams, teasing the over-under up, and
Yep.
taking the under.
Teasing it down to 2.5, teasing the over-under up to 50.5. It's come down. Maybe it's because Purdy, Pearsall, Jennings, Ayuk, Kittle, Bosa are all out for the Niners. I don't know. 4 of their top 5 wide receivers, and they're all everything tight end. Christian McCaffrey can only do so much.
How many touches does McCaffrey get tonight?
28.
Minimum.
Sam Houston State, a 1.5-point favorite on the road at New Mexico State, 9 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. All right, 3 deciding baseball games. 3 o'clock, ABC, Tigers at Guardians. We know who you're rooting for. Who you picking?
Well, all those brilliant moves that the Tigers general manager made at the deadline. Well, oh, that's right. They didn't make any. I'll take the Guardians.
I will as well. 5 o'clock, 4-letter network. Padres, Cubs. Winner gets Milwaukee. By the way, Tigers, Guardians winner gets Seattle. You know what? Seattle may go to the World Series. This could be a Philadelphia-Seattle World Series. I'm liking the 2s for what it's worth. But Padres, Cubs.
I picked the Padres. I'm sticking with it. Rooting for the Cubs, but I'm picking the Padres.
If Yu Darvish was pitching against the Mets, I would take the Padres, but he's pitching against the Cubs. I will take the Cubs. Red Sox, Yankees, 8 o'clock tonight, ESPN.
Let me see. Tails, Yankees.
I'll take the Red Sox.
I mean, I think that game's a coin flip. Really looking forward to it. I am.
Better manager, better bullpen, pressure on the Yankees.
Aaron Judge goes yard tonight. He's been hitting the ball. He's not hitting a long ball, but he's been hitting the ball. He's been hitting it hard. Judge goes yard. He's the hero of Game 3.
The Yankees have much more firepower in their lineup. They really should win.
Miller and Moulton. Pretty good little show today. Had some fun. Roy Cummings, Jeff Cameron, JP Shadrick all joined us. Miss any of it? MillerandMoulton.com or all your usual places to download your podcast. A Football Friday edition tomorrow on the show. Lee Sterling will make his picks. We will make our picks. Remember, it's October. And Pat Kerwin to talk Week 5 in the National Football League. Have a great Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
Besides the sales experience at the Diamond District, we offer a litany of other services. Appraisals.
We have 2 GIA certified gemologists, full-time servicing your needs with appraisals.
We buy gold, diamonds, gemstones, Rolex watches.
Repairs. We have 3 full-time master bench jewelers.
A beautiful custom design department so that we can give you one-of-a-kind jewelry. Come see Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Football season is back and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower is so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton